comment, and subscribe.
Hey guys, I'm really excited. I just picked up my new Dennis Prager book. It's called Why the Jews? The Reason for Anti-Semitism. I can't wait to... Whoa! Oh no! Man, I bet that book was really good.
Shut down the black markets, take away what little they have, then double the amount of floggings and executions, put them on TV, broadcast them live, make everything about that. What kind of dress is she gonna wear? Floggings. What's the cake gonna look like? Executions. Who's gonna be there?
You know, I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel are surrounded by people that want to kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making. And Biden says be proportional. What is the proportional response to people who want to kill you and your family?
gosh.
They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends to keep the war over there from coming here. They're willing.
U.S. troops on the ground.
We did Iwo Jima. We can do that. America First is to kill people who wish us ill, to take them off the table. Having new Mideast, we're going to make a ton of money. Just wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks.
The next 2 weeks meaning what?
We're going to blow the hell out of these people. The mothership of international terrorism is about to collapse.
Daddy, Daddy, watch me twirl. Daddy!
Way out west, a rich old man had two such different sons. Eli spoke with Bible raised and Billy spoke with guns. Daddy Bloodchild left a will and Eli said that's fair, but Billy said no, let's fight it out so I can get your share.
May the best man win. May the best man win. May the best man win.
The mayor said, folks, let's work it out by setting up a race. And everyone said, poor preacher man, he'll fall right on his face. Eli was a city boy, and Billy knew the land. Please don't go the school mom bed. But Eli took a stand.
May the best man win. May the best man win. May the best man win.
When they meet, it'll be like hot lead and cold feet. When they meet, it'll be like hot lead and cold feet on that street. It'll be like hot lead and cold feet. 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 May the best man win. May the best man win. May the best man win. Daddy Bloodchild left a will, and Eli said that's fair. But Billy said no, let's fight it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday evening. We are already halfway through the week. We're on a second computer on the second stream of the week. Hopefully this one goes a little bit better than the last one. Hope you are all doing well. We have lots of fun stuff to talk about. We've got the war heating up once again. We're back in the Strait of Hormuz, or however you say that. We've got T-Rex Arms launching their holster officially, which we'll talk about, plus reshuffling the deck, so to speak, when it comes to their management team. We've got UMP parts kits in the United States. Cool news for some H&K fans who won't be getting their hands on SB5s or MR556s anytime soon. And then we have two things that I just absolutely hate mashed together. We got bullpups and 3D printing. We have the Nylog, which it was a big hit at SHOT Show this year. The idea of getting a sub 1K bullpup kit thingamajig from a certain company. Now, if they're actually shipping them, well, that's to be determined at a later point in time. And then we've got a selection of rage bait and funny little postings later on. But before we get to that, Richard, how's your night going?
I'm here.
Heck yeah. How does it feel to be the pneumonia man on the panel, hanging out with us, giving us literally the last breath in your lungs?
I'm honored that I could spend my last moments with you guys.
Oh, I don't know how chat feels about it, because sometimes chat's a little rude. They'll be rooting for the pneumonia. Okay, they're like taking out bets, like when it's going to take you out.
Yeah, I'm placing bets too.
Well, yeah, no, you can't bet on your own demise. That's cheating. You'll just
Well-
choose to croak. All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Iran, shall we? For like 5 seconds. So it turns out, I think this is the first time that we've actually hit a commercial vessel in the Strait of Hormuz, because what was this? The Karakwa flagged tanker MT Balma, after the vessel ignored repeated warnings and continued towards Karg Island, Iran's primary oil export terminal, in violation of the reimposed U.S. naval blockade. So we decided just to disable the ship instead of allowing them to go and pick up oil at Karg Island, which is like, okay, you know, a little bit of an escalation. Now we have a tanker dead in the water sitting in the strait, which probably makes the crew very unhappy. If I had to guess, if they're all still breathing, they're probably rather upset that they are now stuck, stranded, probably out of a job, and not going to be getting paid or leaving anytime soon. Because, of course, we have reinstated the blockade in Iran, and it doesn't seem like oil prices are going to continue to go down. Earlier in the week, we were down at like $60, $65 a barrel, which is really, really good. It was rather inexpensive. It was almost pre-war pricing. And now, since the latest escalation where they're hitting bases in the Gulf area and we're hitting them, and there's this new wave of attacks going back and forth because no one can behave, prices are back up to around $80 a gallon. So, quick synopsis. CENTCOM announced another round of strikes on Iran on Wednesday morning, that was today, marking the 5th straight day of the U.S. launch attacks on Iran. Iran on Tuesday launched numerous attacks on U.S. allies in the region, including Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan. The U.S. reinstituted the naval blockade on Iran after the Islamic Republic repeatedly attacked commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, originally, Trump was going to impose a 20% reimbursement fee on the Strait of Hormuz, which is like interesting, because that is something that the Iranians floated out there, was doing basically a toll system, like, hey, for every tanker that comes through, we need $1 million. And then Donald Trump was like, hey, I can do that too, can't I? I've got the U.S. military. So how about a 20%, right? 20% toll coming to and from using the strait, which is a lot of money, probably a lot more than $1 million a ship, if I had to guess. So now we're near $80 a barrel for crude, when it was, again, under 70 for the first time in months and months and months. So congratulations. The quick 2-week war in Iran, the 3-4 day expedition is now, what is it now? When did we start this? February? Was it February?
I believe it was
Because January was Maduro. That was January, right?
Yeah.
And then February was, yeah, it's February, maybe March. I don't remember. Anyways, it's the point being, it's been a while. Okay, it's been a while. We're still there. We're still doing stuff. We're still spending a lot of money to attack the sand people. Which sand people? I'm not sure. I couldn't even point to them on a map, but here we are. Okay, now moving on to gun news and the industry as a whole. We do have T-Rex Arms finally launching their Titan Level 2 outside the waistband holster. And I did buy one, as promised. Today, I spent my own hard-earned cash on their Titan holster, which has now been completely shown off. They added some pictures to the website, which is quite nice. Again, it looks basically like a Safariland clone, but I will say, okay, the one thing that I will say about this Titan Level 2 retention holster is that for the price tag, as you can see on screen, that's pretty darn affordable. That's not bad. You know, $135 for a level 2 holster. You know, obviously, if you want a QLS fork or a hanger or, you know, any of the different mounting options that exist, it's going to go up a little bit in terms of cost, but $135 is not too bad. Imagine buying a holster that costs half of your gun. Ruger RXM folks are strange. Well, I don't know. There are lots of appendix holsters that are, roughly $100. So I don't
think
really
that's about the average now, isn't it? 80 to $100.
Well, yeah, 80 to $100. So for a level 2 retention holster costing, a little bit more than that, pretty good. So I actually, ironically, Randy, I did get it for the Ruger RXM because my Glock 17 is in more of a gamer configuration right now. So I actually did get it for the 4.5-inch Ruger RXM with a TLR1. So yeah, it will be used for a video. I'm sure it'll get posted on the Gun.Deals channel. And honestly, for me, if I can get away with spending $135 on a video, like that's really cheap. That's really, really cheap for what it is, right? So I did get the black and gray. You can spend a little bit more to get other colors. I can't be bothered to spend more money on, camo or whatnot, especially when a can of paint is like $5 and you can get the same thing, the same effect anyways, rather than
how much is
sorry,
how much is the upcharge for the camo? It's
like 10 to $20. So it's like, it's not bad. They're not raking you over the coals, but for me, I don't, I have a bunch of, camouflage spray paint laying around. So if I wanted to make it camo, I just would do that myself. Was I forced to buy it? Well, the problem was that I said I would buy it. So yes, I was forced to by my own volition, by the weight of my own words dragging me down to spend $135. I think after tax and shipping it was like $150, which still, it's fine. For me, making a video on it, $150, really cheap video. When you think like the last time I spent $150 on like an optic, like maybe
Silent.
last year when I did the Sig Romeo Gen 2 optics. But I mean, that's like the cheapest video I've made in a long, long time. Not factoring in ammo costs, of course, but still like very inexpensive for what it is. So yeah, the Romeo 5 Gen 2s are probably the last time I spent less than $150 on a optic video or any sort of video for the Gun.Deals channel. So that is that. But there was another little update. I saw this covered on Ben Steger's video the other day, but they are now adding new positions over there at T-Rex Arms, and this kind of comes hand in hand with their launching of course, the new Titan holster. I hope the Titan holster is good. I'm not sure how enthused I am about giving T-Rex Arms my money, but as far as the products go, could be interesting. So Dave Roden is now been named the Chief Growth Officer over at T-Rex Arms. Now, Dave Roden, who the heck is that guy? Well, you're about to find out. Industry veteran with proven track record in tactical product development, sales, and brand growth, joins leading holster manufacturer. Now, T-Rex Arms is a leading holster manufacturer in the fact that their sidecar was like the first ones to do it, basically, But outside of the sidecar, I don't even know really what their driving product was, because like at their peak they were doing $20 million a year, which sounds like a lot, but then you have to remember somebody like PSA is doing $250 million a year, and they're selling a lot, wider variety of product, much higher volume. So I would imagine only a couple million of that is actually their holsters, and then a lot of that is going to be nylon and just standard distributor type stuff. G-Code did it first. Well, G-Code is another one of those big ones. I mean, you could call is Tenacor a leading holster manufacturer? It's like, maybe. I mean, they're good at what they do, but I don't know if leading is necessarily the right word. Maybe leading is a little bit misleading, okay? T-Rex Arms, a premier manufacturer of innovative holsters and tactical gear, today announced the appointment of Dave Roden as its new Chief Growth Officer in this role. He's a grower, not a shower. Roden will lead strategic initiatives to expand the company's market presence, drive product innovation, strengthen dealer and end-user relationships, and accelerate revenue growth across public safety, military, and civilian markets. Roden brings more than 2 decades of high-impact leadership in the tactical and law enforcement apparel and equipment sectors. Most recently, served as Director of Sales, Public Safety for Vertex, where he oversaw sales and training initiatives for the Vertex brand of products from 2016 to 2022. He led product development and reestablished the Vertex brand earlier in his career at 511. Or you guys say 511, right? Because in my mind, I always say 5.11, but it's 511. That's how you guys actually say it. I don't think
schooling.
Well, yeah, but I've never bought a 511 product. See, I have to force myself to say 511.
I've never bought them either, but I did have somebody send me a pair of their shooting gloves, and I will say they are nice. They are nice.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't their brand like switch? Because weren't they like either super tactical and then they switched to like CrossFit type stuff, or was it the other way where they were more of a CrossFit brand and then they switched to get more tactical?
From what I recall, they were always like police and law enforcement gear oriented, and then a couple of years ago they started switching to appeal to a broader customer base.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, you're going to tap out pretty quick or max out in the gun industry pretty quick. So, due to 511, Tactical Road and Service Director of Strategic Business Units for packs, bags, belts, holsters, and breaching tools. 511 breaching tools? What?
Yeah.
Okay. Under his leadership, his nylon category grew dramatically from $9.8 million to $34 million. That's crazy. Just the nylon division of 511 did double whatever T-Rex Arms did as a whole in their peak year in annual sales and achieved the highest GM ROI in the company. He introduced product demonstration videos as a standard practice, which T-Rex Arms has been doing forever, restructured the product development team, and oversaw go-to market strategies from ideation through distribution. Now, the one thing that T-Rex Arms has kind of started to do in the same way that 511 did is 511 got into a lot of the big retailers, you know, so whether that was like Dick's or whether it was Cabela's or Shields or name your like outdoor store, you can find just 511 products, maybe not their most tactical products, but like you can find 511 products in a lot of these big box stores. And T-Rex Arms has a deal with some of these other companies where they're now starting to carry sidecars and other holsters just in these big box stores where you're going to get in front of the most people, right? Because this is something that Mike Mahalski talked about on Sons of Liberty Gunworks during our conversation, is that there's a lot of sales opportunities being missed when you're solely an online company, right? Because it's only going to be people that know about you, that have seen your videos, that follow your channel, anything like that. Whereas a lot of these big box stores, you just have people walking by, you know, and they're like, oh, there's a thing. I have no idea what this brand is, but it has like a cool logo on it and it's a holster for that gun I have. Maybe I should get one. Maybe I should pick that up. So again, I think it's a good strategy for these companies to try to expand into more retail direct sales where they're selling to big box stores. Yeah, they got to take a cut in margins, of course, but you're going to get it in front of a lot more people. And that's the way you're going to get the most traction. Dave Roden is exactly the leader we need to take T-Rex Arms to the next level, said David Knorr. Now, this David Knorr is the funny looking one. I think, was it that you got Sleepy Captain, CEO, former CEO. I think he got reshuffled somewhere else. You got David Knorr, which is the odd looking one who married into the Botkin family. And then there's the other David. But I'm pretty sure this is the odd looking one. You know what I'm saying. T-Rex Arms interim CEO, his deep relationships across Tier 1 units, federal agencies, and the broader tactical community, combined with his proven ability to grow categories, launch successful products, and build brands, make him the ideal fit as we expand our holster and gear lineup. Now, you know what's funny about that, Richard, is I think during one of Lucas's interviews with Joel Park, I want to say, if you go back last year, there was an interview between Joel Park and Lucas Botkin where he talks about one of the people at T-Rex Arms using AI for everything, like answering emails, newsletters, everything. And they were getting really annoyed with him for doing that. And I'm pretty sure it's David. So I'm pretty sure this guy, even that response there is AI generated. You know, it's like this is Soldier Systems Daily, right? So they send, hey, a request for quote at T-Rex Arms, and David just responds via Chat GPT or whatever it might be. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm putting those two bits of information together. Roden is a highly regarded subject matter expert, having delivered presentations and product training to all tier 1 teams, as well as Langley, Pentagon Police, Capitol Police, FBI, HRT, DEA, and others. I'm absolutely driven to see T-Rex succeed, said Roden. T-Rex has earned a reputation for quality innovation and understanding what operators and serious users actually need. I look forward to leveraging my experience in product development, sales, training, and strategic partnerships to help the company continue its upward trajectory and deliver even more exceptional solutions to the market. And I don't think that this will change much about their trajectory. Again, if you want to follow the rumor mill, have they laid off 30% of their staff? Have they laid off 50% of their staff? Are they starting layoffs? Are they not calling it layoffs? You can, however you want to phrase that personally to feel better about it. I'll let that be up to the individual interpreter in the chat to figure that one out. I think that the Titan could be a good product. I think it could actually be a good addition to their holster lineup. Kind of them almost getting back to basics in an odd way, considering that's what they got their start in, was just holster manufacturing. And then they would carry, XYZ product, basically at full retail price. So they were never a discount store, which is why I never really shopped there. But they did have like things that were hard to find in stock. And all the stuff that they did carry were at a certain level of quality. And that is kind of what Lucas has said they've lost, and what he's trying to do with Lethal Corporation. Sorry, I had to get that confused with Adaptive Defense. But either way, I think that the Titan will probably do well as long as it's made properly, as long as it does its job. It will be really funny, of course, if they start breaking and having problems and they just rushed a product to market to try and get some additional funds. And it also does seem strange to me that they are doing this while still continuing their legal battle with Lucas and then hiring, new industry personnel to come on to right the ship, I suppose, while they're laying people off. It seems like they're trying to do a lot of things at once when they kind of just need to fix their public persona, right? Because another thing that has been really bad for them is their marketing. They don't have any online presence anymore. Like, the YouTube channel is essentially dead. There's no hype on any of their Instagram posts, any of their X posts, any of their YouTube videos. Nobody really cares about them all that much. The driving force behind a lot of that public persona is gone, both metaphorically and literally in this case. So again, I don't think that this is going to fix any of their problems. I think this is more akin to people rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. So that's like, well, we got something to do. This guy's making this thing over here and that guy's doing that. And we're all busy doing something. But the ship itself that you're attached to is kind of going down. Kind of going down. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on T-Rex Arms' current market situation?
Well, I think they're going the way of the wayside. Unfortunately, either that or they're just going to outright sell. Basically start bringing in outside people and then piece off the company individually through stocks and shares. That direction.
I wonder if they will go public at some point. What would also be ironically funny is if they bring in a bunch of industry talent, and then eventually, like, they add a bunch of these people to the board of directors right now, and then eventually all of the other botkins get voted out of their leadership positions. I'm just saying, okay, in a world where that happens, that would be ironically funny. Oh, hey, look, it's Titus Arms. We are going to talk about Titus Arms a little bit later, and the Nylog. Two things that I absolutely hate: bullpups and 3D printing. Hope you're having a good night. All right, what's up next? Well, next is something that I think some of you will find cool, and that is UMPs. You guys like UMPs? Richard, do you like the UMP? Have you ever shot a UMP?
I have.
Do you like it? Is it cool?
I do. The trigger sucks because, it's an HK, but I don't really care for it. I mean, like, I prefer the MP5 better.
Yeah, I think
I am-
most people do.
I am
I'm
a fan
actually-
of 40 and 45. Like, I like the calibers, but this sucks.
I'm also confused because the MP40 to me was always, or the UMP was just always a step back. Like, I don't know why they did that. Because, right, they go from a roller delay to a straight blowback, and now it's mostly plastic. It's really light, and it has it's really well built in terms of like being reliable. It's not fun to shoot, and the ergonomics aren't great. So in some ways, it's like it's maybe a little bit improved from the MP5 in terms of like optics mounting, but everything else about it is just basically straight up worse.
Well, the overall cost for manufacturing was reduced.
Well, right, but maybe I'm crazy, but like H&Ks aren't, or sorry, well, H&Ks are expensive, okay, but MP5s in and of themselves aren't that expensive, right? I mean, nowadays they're sitting between 1 and 2K for a new one. Not an H&K SP5, but for these other people that are manufacturing them off of H&K licensed machines, they're not really that expensive. Like, I think you can get the AP5s for like $1,200. So I mean, as far as like complicated manufacturing processes go, it's not that complicated. They're slightly more expensive than an AK in 2026. But anyways, for those of you who do care, we are going to be getting some imports of the HK or of at least the parts kits for the UMPs. Now, these are traditionally hard to find, I want to say. So having these parts kits in the USA, for some of you, you'll be very excited about this.
Hey there, all you cool cats, and welcome back to the Atlantic Firearms channel. Today we're taking a look at some Heckler & Koch UMP parts kits that just arrived from our team over at Atlanta Headports. Let's go ahead and check these bad boys out. Okay, so the UMP, or the Universal Machine Pistol, was originally designed in the 1990s by Heckler & Koch in Germany.
Wait, are they already gone? That's why this was only a few hours ago, guys. Come on. I guess, I don't know. Are there lots of UMP fans in the chat right now? Actually, I'm just going to put it to a poll. Okay. UMP versus MP5. I mean, I'm not really a fan of either of them per se. I've owned MP5s, never loved them. I thought like the recoil impulse was fine, but to me, this was way before FRTs were a thing and prolific as they are now. I was like, in semi-auto, I'm like, I don't know, guys. This is a heavy little chunky thing that is okay to shoot with a mediocre trigger and kind of bad ergonomics overall. So I'm like, I don't really care. Now, with the advent of FRTs everywhere being quick, easy, and effective, maybe there's a better argument for them now.
So I've had the privilege of shooting regular MP5, the MP5K, and the SD all in traditional, transferable fashion, right? But I recently got the opportunity to shoot an SD with a super safety and a lower that was made for the Stanag components and mags or grips and all that, and it was much more comfortable. The trigger was actually nice, and the cyclic rate was through the roof. So I mean, it is, and it was extremely controllable too. Like, we were putting controlled pairs at 50 yards.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing about the UMPs, especially in 40 and 45. They're like a jumpy little monster. Like, if you watch somebody shoot them in full auto, like, it is just bouncing up and down.
Yeah,
not saying that it's uncontrollable, but I mean, direct blowback is just it's like a bouncy ride that's really jittery.
It's very abrupt. Yes.
Yeah.
Engineered to be a cheaper, lighter, polymer framed alternative to the MP5. Now, these originally started production in 2000, and the UMP was specifically tailored for the U.S. market and military units that required a hard-hitting submachine gun in 45 ACP.
I do love back in the day where they were like, we need sub guns. Okay. We need this small, lightweight platform in quotation marks, but we need it to hit really hard. What's our solution to this? 45 ACP because 9mm just isn't doing it anymore. And I don't know about you guys, like outside of maybe 10mm, all pistol calibers kind of just punch holes. You know, a 45 obviously with the right load and you know it'll hit a little harder, it can expand and make a little bigger of a hole, of course, but they still all just do pistol things. And especially with 45, like you get reduced ammo capacity and the bullets are way heavier. So it's not like they shoot nice. It's not like you get crazy ammo capacity, and it's not like they're particularly easy to shoot. So there was this 30-year period, I guess, between like 1980 and 2010, probably a little bit before 2010, honestly, where they were like, how do we get these pistol calibers to do rifle things or to be more effective? You know, like the Mark 23 offensive pistol. And it's like, actually, this is all just bunk, and just short-barreled 5.56 kind of does what you want it to do. Or 300 Blackout or some of these other calibers, right, that were designed specifically to fill this role.
5 ACP. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these parts that we're seeing in these kits. First one we have here on the table, guys, would be chambered in 40 S&W. It will come with the original parts that you guys see there. They will have the 3-position pictograph style lower. They'll also come with one original magazine, again, the polymer folding stock, and the original German Heckler & Koch 40 S&W barrel.
Skoshi Actual, that is not the P90 we're talking about, okay? I know you're a big fan of the UMP from GFL2, okay, but that's not what we're talking about here, Skoshi. Unbelievable.
You can see the German Eagle in there, proving that was made in Germany. Now, these will also come with some rails as well. We'll basically guarantee you guys will get one rail section with these. Moving along to the next kit we have on the table, this one will be chambered in 45 ACP. And again, these will come with the...
Now, the one thing that I do like about 40 is like you can find right now, I think HSL is still selling their 40 reman ammo, but for like 27 cents a round, 28 cents a round. So I think I have a couple thousand rounds of the HSL 40 sitting on the shelf down there that I need to shoot through the STI. But that is the only thing that I like about 40 is like if you want a hotter caliber, right, than 9mm, it is very inexpensive to shoot as long as you're looking in the right places.
Original, these are 4-position or burst mechanism lowers. Those are a 2-round burst, and again, that's the pictograph style. Again, with one original magazine, the polymer folding stock. Again, a couple rails on there, and then these also will have the original German 45 auto barrel, as can be seen.
And those barrels are absolutely ridiculous, but you have to remember that with the UMP specifically, they were designed to fire with a completely obstructed bore and not blow up. So those are insane barrels for like, you know, 40 and 45, because even like bull barrels on a pistol are like half of that, right? Because these calibers are very low pressure compared to like 5.56 or alternatives.
There. All right, this next kit we have on the table, guys, will also be chambered in 45 AC, pretty much the same thing as the one beforehand there, except this one will have the original barrel, but that barrel will be threaded. Pretty unique if you want to add some muzzle attachments on there. And finally, the last.
I guess a 40 is interesting because if you get the 180 grain loads, depending on how hot they're loaded, you can find some of them that are only going like 950, right? 950 FPS. So they're like barely subsonic. However, that's out of a pistol barrel. So if you have a longer, like 8 or 9 inch barrel that they're showing here, it's going to be really close because there are some 40 cal loads that are subsonic, right? Some of the 180s that are subsonic, but that's going to be out of a pistol barrel, not out of one of these.
Last kit we have on the table here will also be chambered in 45 ACP. Again, similar to the other two that we showed you guys. This one will just simply have a aftermarket or HDPS brand barrel, as can be seen there.
Yeah, Lost Arrows loads are always supersonic. Very true. Now, listen, if I was going to be buying a UMP, it would either be in 9 or 40 just for the cost. of it all, right? Because if I buy a gun, like I want to shoot it. Obviously, it's going to get an FRT, and then I'm going to shoot it a bunch. The only advantage that 45 ACP has in this isn't terminal performance, because again, none of us actually care about terminal performance, right? That's a moot point for like, you know, real LARPers, or, you know, like nobody is actually going to be using a UMP for a defensive situation. But 45 ACP, naturally subsonic. So if you have a source on cheap loads, so to speak, okay, I'm sure a lot of you guys are a source of cheap loads. However, you can get, you know, suppressed shooting pretty easily. Now, the problem with that is then you have to own a 45 caliber suppressor. And I don't want to own a 45 caliber suppressor. I barely want to own a 9mm suppressor, honestly.
Pretty awesome stuff. We appreciate everyone stopping in here today to take a few minutes.
So that is the UMP imports. There are some more parts kits coming into the US. Unfortunately, apparently, they're already all sold out. So there you go, guys. You'll have to find them on the second-hand market. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you would still have to source a receiver for the parts kits, right? Is there a source in the US for like American-made receivers to put all this stuff into, or do you have to send them out to some like HK shop to get them all put together?
Well, Tommy Built was one of the sources, but
was actually, let me see. I'm actually curious now. UMP parts kit. Maybe H&K Parts has them. Yeah, maybe. UMP receiver.
Oh man.
S5 Tactical. There's a couple of them. I know somebody in the chat's going to be like, "Oh, well, I 3D print a Get Out." Get Out. I'm just kidding. You guys are doing the Lord's work, keeping these old, irrelevant, dated, terrible, inferior platforms alive, okay? And for that, 3D printers, we appreciate you guys, okay? All right, now speaking of old, outdated, terrible, inferior, okay, list of slurs of an unimaginable length, we have the Nylog. Now, the Nylog by Titus Arms caught some waves at SHOT Show. Okay, I saw a lot of people make videos on them. A lot of people are interested. Yes, I know it's a bullpup. It's disgusting. Yes, I know it's 3D printed. It's degenerate. I get all of your guys' critiques. Okay, me and you were on the same page here. Disgusting, degenerate, abomination. But you know, for $900, okay, I could see why certain individuals would be very excited. You know, if you happen to be a poor, who's also degenerate, who's also autistic, then the Nylog is like right up your alley, okay? Like literally perfect for you. It was made directly for you. Turns out, you know, a little bit of drama going on between Titus and the people who paid him money to receive his product. So this was posted on the Discord, all of the screenshots, and apparently this stuff is all been made public, so I'm just rehashing it here. But we have man, when I say the 3D printing community / bullpup community is just riddled with autism and SSRIs, like stuff like this, okay? So be prepared for cringe, ladies and gentlemen. So please, daddy, please, shipping info, ? I'll give you extra money for shipping, bro. Just let me know the tracking number and when they go out the door. Sorry to bother you. I know you're slammed. Now, you can see the dates here just progressively getting longer and longer. Also, if you ever refer to your weapons dealer to somebody that you gave money as please, daddy, please, I just want you put in a masquerade. Okay, it's just weird. Don't be calling your 3D printer guy, please, daddy, please. Hey, bud, I know you're stupid busy just checking on the Nylogs. Can't wait to get him, bro. Again, he continues to be left on red, which is very funny. Titus eventually does respond. They are done and test fired. Which FFL are they going to? He, says what FFL they're going to. Thank you, bro. You got, and then he follows up a few days later when after they're allegedly done. So again, according to Titus, they're allegedly done. You got tracking for them, Oggs, brother. I'm sensing a pattern here of perhaps not actually getting your product delivered, right? Okay, so now this guy responds. Does anyone know how the F to get a hold of Titus from Titus Arms? Dude was supposed to build me Nylogs over a year ago. Now, I don't know about you guys. $900 is like, it's a little bit of money, right? It's an obnoxious amount of money. It's more than I would want to give to somebody else for like a year, if that's what's going on, or if you paid for a full Nylog, or if it's just like a parts kits build, whatever it happens to be. But still, okay, if they're holding any of my money for like a year, it's a bothersome amount of time, even if the money might not be that big of a deal, right? All right, so I guess I'll take the blame where blame is due and defend myself. This is Titus here, I believe. Where needed, yes, you sent me a couple of part kits around a year ago. The original agreement from your side was, hey, please take this kit in for you to build out. Take your time and get it to you when I can. I reluctantly accepted, and while I agree that a year is a long time frame, you let me know throughout the process that it was okay. During all of that, I was doing revisions, tweaks, changes to the receiver design. What I didn't appreciate was the random 3 to 4 strings of phone calls at random times of the day when you indicated prior everything was fine and borderline harassing me. Now, listen. Okay, Titus, if you're still in the chat.
He's not.
Listen,
He left.
I thought I saw him a minute ago, but listen, okay. I have customers that I do builds for. I take between 2 and 3 weeks. Sometimes 3 weeks is more like 4, okay? And shocker here, it is actually within my customers' rights to be upset when I miss my time frames. And even when people say, like, I know in the back of my mind, when somebody says, oh, it's okay, I know that it's not. I know that it actually bugs them, right? So if I miss a deadline or if I'm slow here, I don't want to take more advantage of my customer's kindness, right? Because my customer is essentially being kind and lenient to me. He's already given me money that I've accepted, right? I could just refund him at any point in time, which I have done for people, right? Where it's like, I can't meet this time frame. I'm just going to refund you your money. You get your money back, and I go my separate way and do my own thing, right? I think that's very fine. But again, if you are abusing your customer's kindness, even when they tell you that this is okay, this is fine, I'm not worried about it, you can kind of take the hint when they keep calling you and texting you that maybe it's not actually as okay as they're telling you it is, because everybody's trying to be nice. Most people are trying to be nice. They're like, oh, I gave it to him a couple months ago. It's not that big a deal. 4 months ago, a little bit of a deal, but I'm being nice. 6 months ago, I'm kind of upset, but I'm still being nice. 9 months, I'm pretty upset, and the facade of me being nice is starting to slip. A year, it's like, okay, now we have problems, right? So, dude, he was doing revisions, which again, why you should just also to everybody out there in chat right now, you should not pre-order products, especially 3D printed products where they're going under revisions and there's a lot of stuff that's going to be making changes as you go to like final production. I think that's a very silly thing to do, to even entertain the idea of pre-orders, both on the businessman side and on the side of the person doing the pre-order. Yes, they are currently complete and done and sitting against a wall right now. Yes, I made a label a couple weeks ago with the intent of getting them out around then. No, I haven't made the drive to UPS. See, now this is another problem of the end of this text here, where he's like, yeah, it took me a year to make them and they're sitting against a wall right now. I just haven't shipped them out. That to me is problematic, right? That to me is obnoxious, because if they are actually done and they've just been sitting there for like 2 weeks, like surely you could, I don't know, give them to somebody else to take the drive out there, right? If it's just a drop off to UPS.
UPS pickup. I'm an extremely rural location.
Well, Titus, if you send me a DM, I'll be happy to send you an invite to this as we're kind of going through all this, and you can give your site. I don't have a problem with that.
I'll email him right now.
Can you send him a link?
I can. I just need to know where to send it.
He'll probably DM me on Instagram. I would, if I had to guess. I don't think we're on Discord. Oh, anyways, there's a lot of this. So, anyways, WTF, bro, and you gave me deadline saying it would probably be done in a few months. You didn't reluctantly agree. You agreed without any hesitation. I sent you all the parts, and all you had to do was make a receiver and assemble them. Sure, man. I've been really patient with you. I would say a year has been pretty patient. You still are, and always were obligated to a refund and return of parts if you felt like things were unfair. Yeah, but now you're saying that they're done and sitting there. So now you're kind of holding the finished parts over his head a little bit. And every time I reach out, I receive no comms. You said the guns were done and were going to be shipped. So which is it? They've been rebuilt around 3 times. That's interesting. Revisions and changes were made. Okay. Not once was I told. You said they were done and they've been tested, rebuilt around 3 times. You sent me a shipping label and tracking a month ago and they're still not shipped. Gosh, man. I mean, again, it's not like this is an insane amount of money, but it is certainly annoying here. And Hot Cocoa has the correct take. Freak the F out and panic sell everything right now. It's over. Yeah, again, if you're going to do business this way, you have to understand that people are not going to take kindly to you holding somebody else's funds for like a year, right? It's not going to go super nice. I see Titus Arms. He just messaged me on Instagram, so I will copy and paste him the invite link. All right, there is the invite link over to Titus Arms. He can join us when he can. I'm going to try and get through all of this first. There's a bunch of this stuff to go through. And Titus Arms says, he's running a company, not a charity. This isn't the first time I've seen people publicly using the word ghosted. I know M70 decently well, so I'm confident it's not malicious, but come on, got to communicate with customers better. Oh, I'm definitely running a charity a decent % of the time, lol. But yeah, communication notoriously sucks. I actually have a full-time employee moving in and starting in the next month or so to take on all of that. Again, that's good moving forward, but not fixing the issue in the past. Trading rent for labor partially. Oh no. Okay, 3D printers. Hey, I got a new guy coming on, and it's somebody who's going to be living with you to do work for you. That's actually funny. Rent for labor. The customer is always wrong in the gun industry. The customer is just always wrong in general, Coco. Okay. Let's see. Glad you're getting to the point. Speaking of mad barrel machining, big turtle and gas blocks. Let's see. Okay, so this was back in May 1st of 2025 when they originally sent it out, right? So that was quite a while ago, May 1st, 2025. So this is the original shipment date. And to this point in time, are they still sitting against a wall? Have they actually shipped? You know, again, you can see the cost of all of the stuff. Again, this is just in the DMs that were published. You can see all of the communications that were going back and forth. Again, this is Titus here saying that it's going to be before the end of November. It is currently July, so that was, oof. And then you can see him again messaging in October. When's it going to be here? Again, saying November. That's not gonna happen realistically. Now, this was another thing that was shared was basically, Titus going over one of his project cars, which is not a bad thing to have projects. It's not a bad thing to have other hobbies on the side of your business. But again, when you have customers waiting on product and you're talking about, fixing up your project car, you can understand how they get quite upset. And then it just continues on here with more drama about lefty Nialogs and whatnot. Now, this is bad because 3D Arms says, hey, have you made any lefty Nialogs? And Titus, this is just a few weeks ago, says, I have. Do I need to build you one, cutie? Which again, haha, tongue in cheek. However, when you have a customer waiting for like a year for a Nilog, you can understand how people just get a little pissed off. Okay, you just people get upset. It works, right? I get it. Also, the MR2 does go hard. Yes, 100%. It is a cool project car. Kind of jealous, honestly. All right. Well, now that we got the background out of the way, let's hear it from the man himself, Corbin. How's your day going, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
I am doing well. Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll get into the background of all of this, shall you?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Corbin Titus. I run a company called Titus Arms. I'll say we a lot, but I really mean to say me specifically, but my company is overall an incredibly small company. We prioritize specifically in FDM, 3D printed firearms and firearms accessories. And like one of our mission statements is to change the whole notion and idea of FDM 3D printed stuff being bad. We're trying to break that, stereotype, which was rightfully deserved for a while, especially when stuff first started coming out and people just making junk that breaks. So we kind of wanted to switch that up and try and, break the stigma around it.
I'm muted. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is you with James Reeves here at SHOT Show this year.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. And so, well, why don't you walk us through this drama specifically with the individual who sent you parts for a couple of AUG kits? Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. So I'll kind of address it from my perspective. And if you need to cut me off, just let me know. I can have a tendency to ramble on sometimes. So
sure.
I guess for starters, I will absolutely take blame where blame is due, which is in a lot of cases in this instance. I have a tendency, and I've talked about it publicly and I still talk about it, but I have a tendency to take on a little bit more on my plate than I can handle. Again, I'm a one-person company. I am doing this like out of my house, literally, like I'm a home-based FFL doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever this person reached out, this was before my company offered a build service, which we had planned on doing. We didn't actually launch that until a couple months or so ago publicly on the website, but we had people reach out wanting to have the ability to send their kits in to be built out. And at the time, I turned down a few people. I really wasn't ready for it because I didn't, like I had mentioned before, I didn't have a complete receiver design finalized at the time, and I knew that there would be some changes. But so I did take it on for this customer specifically because he had been in one of the groups that were in for the Nilox. It's an open source project, so there's public chat rooms for it. So he reached out. I took the kits on, and it did take a while for them to get touched. But I was under the impression that I basically told him, like, hey, this isn't really a service that I offer, and this will take some time. Just try and be a little patient. And obviously a year is
well, yeah. So if I may just get the timeline correct, he
sorry.
offered you these in May of last year.
Yeah, that sounds about right. May of 2025. Right.
So like, I agree that, if you're saying like you're being upfront, hey, this is going to take a minute, but at a certain point in the conversation, you had mentioned a date like November. Like I should have these done by November, right?
Yeah. That's true. Yep.
And then that is, correct me if my math is wrong, that was 8 months ago.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about. Factually, it's 8 months ago, but in my head, it seems like it was a month ago. But yes, it was 8 months ago.
Yeah, time goes fast. But I mean, yeah, somebody is asking for proof in chat, but I believe these are the DMs that were already posted. And this is you down here, right? M70 saying sometime before the end of November.
Yeah.
Back in June or July of last year.
Yep.
Right.
Correct.
Now, obviously, I don't like if you're I appreciate you calling in, but there are people in the chat asking for you to turn your camera on. I'm not going to make you turn your camera on. Like Richard doesn't have his camera on.
I can totally do it. I just need to plug it in. So I was just in a work meeting, so I have most of everything set up, honestly.
You're good. No, so like, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 26.
Okay, perfect. I'm not that much older than you. And as somebody who's also a sole proprietor LLC, a mistake that I made early on is saying yes to people. And it is something that you have to get out of the habit of doing. But I will say that I've never held funds from somebody for over a year and then kind of blamed them a little bit for it. So that's the problem. I mean, realistically, man, you got to dump that. So if it's going to be longer, if you're not making your deadline, just give the money back and wash your hands of it. Like, you could have avoided basically all of this, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. I have, some of them are legitimate reasons. Some of them could be excuses, but I do have some more reasons to go into it. I guess maybe I didn't.
You're welcome to go into whatever you want to here. You know.
Yeah.
Also, but I would also recommend, okay, just another free bit of advice. If you're going to throw customers under the bus, just stop it and don't say anything.
Right. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah. I'll throw myself under the bus more. Actually, what I'll do is I'll throw myself under the bus more. Mm-hmm. So I do have a tendency to say yes. I have a hard time telling people no, and it's funny, in that same room, one of my friends kind of said it in the chat, but he's like, you know, you're running a company, not a charity service. You know, if people are paying you for products, you need to follow through. And my response to him in a DM was, sometimes I do feel like I'm running a charity service. But I get that I need to be better about my deadlines and timelines. And it's difficult. But it's not always a valid excuse.
No, I totally understand that. But again, like, I'll use myself as an example here. I've had a company for 7 years at this point. Only one out of those 7 years have I ever actually turned a legitimate profit on the business. But okay. I would never, again, being like, oh, I'm a charity case here. It's like, no, people gave me lots of money to do a specific job for them. Yep. Me mishandling my own business and, you know, not making a lot of money, that's on me. That's not the customer's responsibility,
Absolutely.
Right?
Correct.
If Nike loses money on a shoe sale, I'm not out here feeling bad for them. I'm like, no, that's kind of on you, bro. I gave you the money for the product, and that was my end of the bargain, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's totally on me. I just think in terms of communication, I could have been a little bit better with them and just been like, maybe, if anything, trying not to have given the deadlines that I did, and maybe try to have pushed myself a little bit harder to meet them.
Well, talk to me about the last part, because the last part to me is also like a little obnoxious. So you had them for just over a year.
Yep.
I want to say.
Yep.
They were finished.
Yep. They were.
And sitting against a wall for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I actually have, they're in our storage room over there, but I have them on hand.
Oh, you still have them?
Yeah, I still have them. They haven't been shipped out yet. I have not been to the post office here in a couple of weeks. We just got done doing a huge Hail Mary to get orders out for Virginia and Rhode Island customers. We actually were shipping things one day air on like the 29th to try and get people to their deadlines. And my biggest thing is I've honestly been exhausted. I haven't really left my house. I haven't gone out. I haven't been doing much. And like, you know, I can sit here and say a sob story, but it doesn't matter. I do need to get off my ass and just pack them up and get them out.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, when was that? Was this a week ago that these DMs were posted? So how long have they been?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when they were posted, but I think the chat was about a week ago.
Okay, so we're looking at almost 3 weeks that you've had somebody's completed products sitting on a shelf that they've been waiting a year for.
Yep. Yeah, I know. So,
well, I'm trying to be as nice as I can here, man. But you have to understand that looks so bad.
Yeah,
that looks awful, bro.
And I'm sure you're aware of it. But there's a lot of things outside of just putting them in a box and shipping them out. You know, there's compliance paperwork and actually packaging them. Our packaging solutions for OGs kind of suck right now. So I've been trying to get that redone. And it's just, you know, the time just adds up. Like, it goes by so quick for me. So it doesn't seem like it's that long, but you know, when I would come back and look at it, it is. And I do want to say, I think the timeline's a little bit messed up. That was stated in the DMs. I think I made the labels probably, as of now, it's probably been about 2.5 weeks. Not quite that 3 to 4 week mark, but still, it's still pretty
Well,
bad.
again, like, so for me, like I do everything build to order. My entire lead time is 2 to 3 weeks. If I can do it faster, like once they're done, they just get boxed up and left. And something that people are pointing out in chat is you can just schedule a UPS pickup as long as you can box them. Like you should be, with firearms, it might be a little bit different.
It is.
But
and with me
I
being
mean, when I
home-based,
ship firearms, it's, you know, I just use Ship My Gun and it's super convenient. I put the
haven't heard
label
of
in the
that.
box. You should do that. I mean,
Okay.
if it's a very fast solution, takes like 24 hours to get a label. You put your driver's license photo inside the box, ship it to the FFL. It's super easy to do. Costs you like $35.
Yeah, with me being a home-based FFL and doing firearm stuff, I was under the impression that because UPS is my go-to, I have always had horrible experiences with FedEx, but UPS would not do pickups for me.
Yeah, well, I don't know where you live. Don't dox yourself, but do you have an actual UPS store in your AO?
Yeah, I do. It's all my information's public, so I'm in North Carolina. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I do have a UPS around me.
Okay, well, do you have a box?
A box.
Are you in possession of a box large enough to ship 2 OGs?
I do.
Do you have packing supplies?
I don't. Yeah, I don't have packing.
You don't
supplies.
have packing supplies.
I don't.
Okay.
I have no bubble wrap.
If
or
I
paper.
send you $50 to go buy packing supplies and a label, will you get his package out tomorrow?
I can get his package out tomorrow, but I can.
I will literally front you all the money for the packing and for the label if you get the guy's product out tomorrow. Okay.
No, it's fine. And I swear this is gonna seem like I came up with this because I'm on stream and I'm on pressure, but that was never my plan. For his rifle specifically, I am including magazines for free for the delay, and there is a slightly upgraded component you can do on the printed OGs. Basically, where the barrel interfaces is generally printed. On our commercial rifles, it's a metal piece, but since it was a build kit that he sent in, it originally would have been plastic. I'm going to make that part metal for him and include magazines. So,
sorry, when you say you're going to make, does that imply that it is not currently in your possession? The part?
No,
that
it's in my they're in my like the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you say, "Oh, I'm going to make this upgraded part for him." I'm like, "Oh
no,
no!"
I meant like at the time I was like, I'm going to give him this metal part.
Okay.
If that
All right.
install it and stuff, of course.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, because you already, correct me if I'm wrong on the story, you already gave him a tracking number.
Yes, I did.
So the label.
Originally, I think I've given him 2 tracking numbers at this point. I think I gave him one closer to, I could be wrong. It was a while ago. It was a few months ago. And that was one of the times, I think it was the first or second time I built the rifles. And then I was like, I made the label, I was going to ship them. I was like, I want to actually change a few things. So that wasn't valid. But the label the newest one was a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Two
And
to
is
3 weeks.
that still available, or are you going to print off another one?
No, that's available.
Okay.
That should still be available.
All right. Well, okay. So do I have your word on stream in front of 700 people that you're going to get the package out tomorrow?
I'll get them out tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll send you a DM and everything when I'm at UPS.
Well, don't worry about me. Make sure the guy knows.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, he'll know.
Okay, he's
He'll be
the
the first
important
person.
one. To me, like, listen, I've dealt with a lot of people in the gun industry. I know that you're a very young man. You've made some mistakes, and that's okay in a way to make the mistakes. It's not okay to not learn from them and to not fix them in the future, right? So, like, I'm being like pretty lenient here. I feel like because you're a very young man in essentially my exact spot just a few years ago, but you got to improve, okay? Because if this is your track record, this is a reputation that's going to be really, really hard to shirk, especially if you're the guy who's trying to improve the reputation of 3D printers and 3D printed parts. Because you got to remember, I hate 3D printing, not necessarily because of 3D printing materials, but because of the types of people they attract. It's the joke that I make about autists being like super autistic, and then you combine that with 3D printing, And it's like all of those things just wrapped into one, you know? So if
Right.
you're going to be the guy to rehabilitate the reputation, like you got to just do it. Right.
Yep.
And the simplest thing would have been just to refund the guy his money like a year ago.
Yeah,
And that's
for
what I
sure.
would recommend doing in the future. If there's ever a project where you get over your head in, as long as you're not, you know, using the guy's cash to pay somebody else, so you can't
Right.
refund him his money, which some
Yep.
people have run into that issue. Just dump the project and move on to something that actually makes money, right?
Right.
So that's my advice.
Yep, that's kind of my plan. I've been having this tendency of overextending myself and not being able to tell people no, but that's something that I've been trying to get locked down and fix and resolve. Demand for products from my company has been pretty high. Again, I'm not trying to use it as an excuse. I'm just trying to give context. For context, like for the complete OGs, we have around, I think, 5,000 people on a wait list. Obviously, those aren't pre-orders or anything. I would never take that many pre-orders. And then we're sitting around 4,000 for the VZ61 clones that we do, which is right up there. So
Could you actually, the chat is asking for them. You have those 2 rifles completed.
Yep.
People are asking for proof. Could you do me a favor? Okay.
Yeah.
Could you turn off your camera,
Mhm.
take off 2 rifles from the wall, and then
Yep.
put that guy's 2 rifles on the wall so we can
Behind
physically
me?
see them? Yeah, behind you.
Yeah,
Because you
I'll
can't
need a
handle them on stream, unfortunately. But if you could do that for me, I think the chat would really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll need a few minutes, but I can go and do that.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. If you can do- And then we'll talk about your 3D printing plans. We'll get a little bit more of an interview going instead of just an interrogation, if that's all right.
Interrogation's fine. I'll be right back. Just need a few minutes.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate it, sir. All right, so we are going to get proof of life on 2 Nylogs. Guys, this was amazing. This was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were just going to be going over dry drama. No, we got the guy here in chat, in person, owning up to it. He's going to show the product. Yeah, proof of life on 2 Nylogs. All right, let's see. Let's see here. Let's get to some of your guys' support real fast. Maybe we'll get him to answer some of your comments. Actually, but while he's doing that, okay, we'll save him from this. The Handsome Horse for $20 says Big Toe Money Hump Day Edition. Christ is King. Christ is King. Free Dugan Desert Rat for governor of Arizona. Wouldn't that be something wild? Well, let me tell you, son. Through Christ, all things are possible. So jot that down.
So talking, I grin like that. Everybody laughing, but he still go when that shoelace tight. He don't fall. It's on. I got Super Saiyan, big toe game. I'm not playing. I'm like Goku. Dragon Ball's about to come all over these balls. It's on. I got Super Saiyan, big toe game. I'm not playing. I'm like Goku. Dragon Ball's about to come all over these balls.
All right. Yeah, I know there's a new metalcore version of it. I just don't have it downloaded yet. Okay. And everybody wants the other BTM. Half the people love the new one. Half the people love the OG one. I still have the OG one up. Shrimp detector. That's actually a good question because again, there's an overlap here between the 3D printing community, the OG community, the bullpup community, furries. Okay, you know, it's just okay. There's just some people there. Okay. Where's the playlist? Hey, I know. I keep thinking that I'm going to do the playlist at any point in time, and it just never actually happens. Amorite Boy for 5 says Leighton Canadian wildfire coated Canucks cannot put out fires, and now the entire Midwest and Northeast gets to inhale their low level smoke. Dude, I feel like that happens basically every year. That somehow Canada screws me over here in South Dakota and makes my summer a gray, miserable nightmare.
It does.
Perks of living in South Dakota.
You remember last year it started because an all-female firefighter training exercise got out of hand.
See,
And
you
they
say
burnt down-
that, and I'm thinking that's a Babylon Bee headline, you know, as like a joke, you know, like women prove that they're equal to men by burning down half of the country or something like that. But no, it's actually just reality. It's actually just clown world.
They burn an entire national forest.
Zanyco for 2 says, John, please call me real quick. 210-852-2859. I believe that's Mike from Sons of Liberty Gunworks number. No, I'm not going to call you Zany. Noni Noah, member for 19 months, says 19 long months. Well, I'm still waiting for Corbin to get back. I haven't seen, he is still working on it, I imagine, getting his the proof of life on the Nilogs up. Lightsport for 2 says, can we have the rat? The rat? Is that his name now? The rat, call Mike from Sons of Liberty Gunworks. No, I don't think that call will go very well. So we'll just let that one ride. Thank you, Lightsport. Appreciate you. Joshua Howard, member for 7 months, says, my son turned 7 months old today and he got sick. Prayers. Well, I'll be praying for your son, Joshua. That's no fun. It's also weird that, did you become a member on the day he turned or the day he was born? Like, I mean, you get your priorities in order, I suppose, but prayers for your son. It's never fun. And never fun when a little kid gets sick. There's not a lot you can do for him. You know, you're kind of just there for him. He'll cry, he'll fall asleep and cry and fall asleep. It's like, ugh, not fun. Thank you, Joshua. Cedar Runner for 2 says, glare makes it look like John has on a kippah. Yeah, I know. It's the stupid. Actually, I wonder if I turn this light over. Oop, don't fall over.
Oh,
that light almost. Does it make it worse? There's no kippah. No kippah. Okay. Proof of no kippah. We got proof of life on Oggs and proof of no kippah. Okay. My apologies. Thank you, Sea Runner. Zadiko 5 says, John, as an RN, do I need to drive 90 minutes and save Richard, also an RN? Really depends. Okay. It depends if he needs you or not. You know, if he sends you that message, if you get the Richard symbol in the air, the Richard call. Lightsport for 2 says they definitely sent Kara some growth pictures. Lightsport, that's not nice. That's not very nice. Thank you, Lightsport. JL Gonis for 2 says, hey, Richard, missed you, bud. Free Jordan. Truk, free Jordan. Yeah, and I got the Carnicon shirt. I think I might have somebody sending me some more Carnicon shirts to give away on stream. And for like everyone we give away, we'll like give $100 to Dugan or something like that. You know, something like that. Thank you, JL Gonis. Appreciate that. Zany again for 2 says, John, be a grown man and get an MP5/AP5. I've owned 1 MP5 or 2 MP5s, at least one. You go back on my channel, I had videos running that thing. Again, I thought it was okay. It was uninspiring for the price tag. Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate you. Breakfast Paladin for 2 says, as the resident cock gobbler, MP5 is the answer. There's always a couple cock gobblers in the chat. Thank you, Breakfast Paladin. Appreciate you, sir. JL Gonis for 2 says, 300 blackout subs versus 45. Is there really that much of a difference? Yes.
No.
Yes. No. They are different. Okay. What is similar about them is only if you compare to like the nominal characteristics like grain weight and energy. Like obviously those two things are going to be very similar. You have a 230 versus a 220 grain projectile moving roughly the same speed. However, 300 blackout has far superior, I forget the technical term for it, but it's penetration, right? Terminal density or whatever it is, because the bullet is so much longer. It has all that energy behind a much smaller area, so the penetration is far better. Even like, so if you're hog hunting, for instance, 45 ACP versus 300 blackout is night and day difference. 300 blackout subsonic is far superior to that. In terms of like ballistic coefficient and downrange performance, 300 blackout has an easy win. And since they're almost roughly the same cost, unfortunately, well, maybe not quite the same cost. What's 45 going for? Like 40 cents a round?
Probably around that. Last time I checked, it was like
60 cents a round. So
not for subs.
No, I got some subs for 60 cents a round because I just shot the PSA Jackal in 300 blackout. Harvard says he's finishing the AUG right now. Again, I'm just. Is he actually not coming back? Corbin, please, I need proof of life. Zanico for 2 says, John, I tagged you on X with my UMP. Uh-oh. Sometimes my tags are a little... Oh, here we go. Wait, that's not a UMP. That's just a... What is that? Just a straight stick-magged AP5? I mean, it looks cool, okay? It's got that vibe, you know? It's a cool vibe. I like it. It's not a UMP, but it's cool. Thank you, JL Gonis. Appreciate you, sir. And Zanico. Appreciate you as well. Son of Mandalore for 2 says 10mm MP5 is cool as hell. Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay. See, I'm driving with you there because with the MP5, you still get the reduced recoil. You get the enhanced terminal performance of 10 millimeter. So I kind of get it in the MP5 platform where at least we have some sort of delay mechanism where it shoots a little bit better. Okay. That's basically it. I still haven't seen Corbin yet. Thank you, Son of Mandalore. Sea Runner for 2 says, Mom, look, Mountain beer cans in the truck gave me a lecture. Sea Runner? I don't get that. Thank you, Sea Runner. Zanico for 2 says, John, bring Titus on. Your wish is my command. Zanico, appreciate you. Just Some Space Cowboy for 5 says, no actually good bullpup has been made yet. The Keltec RDB is one of the closest. Make of that what you will. See, I've shot the Wolverine and the Micron from Desert Tech, and those are both pretty good for bullpups. Like, pretty good for bullpups. Good trigger. The rails suck. They need to redo the rails, and they have redone the rails since launch. Kind of expensive, kind of heavy, not super reliable. It's like you get down the bullpup pipeline and you're like, maybe not. Thank you, Space Cowboy. I need
Tech.
Go ahead.
Desert Tech is a rabbit hole in themselves.
Well, yeah, there's also other things. Okay, so Corbin, are you ready to go, sir? I can bring you back up when you're ready.
No sign of life from him either.
No, he just dropped.
Does my mic not work?
Okay, there we go.
Sorry,
no, you were muted. I can hear you now.
Yeah, I got them and I went to put them up on my wall, and a lot of the guns on my wall fell, so I had to put those back.
I feel bad, but so you're just in the background, just in a sea of guns, trying to move stuff around.
Yeah, trying to put them all up.
Yeah, it's okay. It's my apology. We'll keep going through these until you're ready. Zanico for 2 says, it is not okay to be an hour late, John. Well, yeah, my apologies. Dude, my computer literally died. So I overnighted a 2 terabyte SSD to replace my 10-year-old 1 terabyte SSD. So now we're back up and running, okay? Thank you, Zanico.
Is that what happened on Monday?
Yes, no. So my main boot drive completely died.
Oh, no.
Would not work, would not boot, would not post, no matter what I did. So I had to overnight a new drive, reinstall it on Windows yesterday, right before yesterday's stream on Redoubt. And now we're back on a whole new OS. This is a clean OS that I'm operating on. So there's like some things I haven't downloaded and finalized yet, but it's mostly the same. Zanico for 2 says, Richard, send me the link too. Don't tell John. That would be funny. Honestly, Zany, you've been on stream before. It's not like that big of a deal. Zany for 2 says, John, ask to see piggies. No, we're not making a meme out of Corbin as well. Okay, that is not I don't need to see an augutist's toes on screen. Okay. Sea Runner from 5 says, it's easy to hate on businesses, but do you have the courage to hate customers? That is so true. Okay. So true. Listen, okay. There are customers who have behaved badly to me, and I just ban them from ever buying from me again, and I deal cordially with them and fix their problem. But then I just make sure that they never buy from me again, right? That's what I do. Thank you, Sierra. Pro tip.
I have the courage to hate PSA customers.
Yeah, just on principle. Zanico for 2 says, I bet he has a low T count, quote unquote, tired. Listen, okay, there are lots of deleterious habits that we all have that negatively affect our T. Not getting enough sleep, not having a good circadian rhythm. Like, there are many things that we need to do to fix in our daily hygiene. Get 8 hours of sleep, eat enough red meat, get enough sunlight, all this other stuff that affects our T that we could do before we go to like TRT and stuff like that. Thank you, Zany. Zany for another 2 says, step 1, you and Og get into the MR2. Step 2, drive to the post office. Done. All right. Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate that. Central Sands Defense for $10 says, if I learned that one of my multi-$1,000 bolt gun builds was done and sitting on a shelf due to whatever shipping excuse the builder had, I'd come unglued. I think that is most people's perception here, is that, yes, if you take somebody's money for approximately a year and then you have the product finished, now we have problems. All right, so we have proof of life here. Thank you, Corbin. So correct me if I'm wrong. The two Nylogs are in the center there.
Yep.
Then
And
what
my
color
little
are they? OD green?
Yep.
2 OD green Nylogs. All right. And those are in their finished configuration and shipping tomorrow, right?
Yep. Since it was a build service, it looks a little cursed. He sent in KK gas blocks, so it doesn't have the vertical grip. And obviously, since it was a build surface, it doesn't have the top Picatinny rail on it, but those are gas blocks on the ends of them.
Okay, gotcha. And does he have to do the his own Picatinny rail on top? Is that how that works?
Yeah, he'd be on the hook for his own, since I just assemble it with what the parts is sent in with.
So I have no idea what, like, I've shot AUGs. I'm not like a huge fan of AUGs, but I've never like taken one apart or done anything with them. So like what service do you actually do? So are you just putting together the shell and then installing like barrel, gas block, trigger pack, all that sort of fun stuff?
It's a little bit more complicated than that. These are surplus parts kits, so they're imported, from Malaysia or Austria. And so they come in a full auto configuration. So the demill has to happen to convert. The AUG is weird because the stock has to stop the stock itself has to have a full auto trigger pack from not being able to install, but also there's some weirds with like the stock to receiver fitment. But I just convert those stocks to be able to fit purely semi-auto components, not fit full auto ones. So that conversion work gets done. I'm on the hook for printing the receiver. And then I source parts from a partner for the trunnions and picket. Well, they're not really trunnions, but they're that metal barrel mount I was talking to you about. They send in those, and then I'm just responsible for just assembling it all together, which can be easier said than done, especially with the varying condition these surplus kits can be in.
Gotcha. So what does something like that run for one build kit?
So
on your end?
So for a build service, as of now, honestly, I don't have the pricing off the top of my head because I have different things people can add onto it. But in its like bare bones configuration, if they provide like all of their parts and they want to be on the hook for purchasing all of their parts, I think it's around $300 for assembly, but that also includes the cost of the receiver.
Right. And so like were both of his essentially just that, or were they more involved?
They're what I consider a bare bones build service.
And so now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what you kind of showed off at SHOT Show. That's what a lot of the big, I guess, hype was around, for lack of a better word. So is that?
So what I was hyping off at SHOT Show was complete rifles ready to go. But that's mainly what I was advertising, was basically just the cream of the crop, everything assembled and ready to be shipped out.
And so, well, we're 6 months on from SHOT Show, and something very famous about SHOT Show is people showing off products that will either never come to market or won't come to market for years after their initial launch date was. So where are you in that process of actually just having completed Nylogs?
So because I'm a small company, the amount that we can get out is pretty limited. I think I have close to enough parts kits to assemble 28 rifles, and my wait list is 4,000. So I just basically for demand for me is super high, and I've already started to basically have rifles ready to ship. I actually have people who are friends of friends who have placed pre-orders for one from before. Even this guy sent in his kit to be built out just because they knew it was coming and they wanted to be secure in the spot for one, just because demand was expected to be high.
Well, so if I may ask, if you have 28 that you could build and ship, why not just do that?
It's time. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But also do.
Well, I'm confused because if that is your money-making process,
it's not.
That's not.
So
what do you? Okay, so what does Titus Arms actually make money on then, if not the thing that was hyped up?
My flagship product is the TA61, which is a 3D printed receiver for the VZ61. Basically, we take surplus parts kits for the VZ61 and build it out on that printed receiver. That's our main flagship product.
Okay.
We're currently in the 600 serial number range for those.
Okay. And so those are selling well enough, and that's what's keeping like the business afloat.
Yep.
Is those?
Yep.
Okay.
And we
So
do
the Nylog is what, a secondary, tertiary product that might get done at some point, or
yes. Well, in terms of done for like design and stuff, that's done. But in terms of them being built out, it just, it's just, I say when I can get to it, but is one of those things where it's like, I just have to do it, but it's just taking time.
Right. So, well, are you at the point right now where, so you're a solo guy doing basically everything yourself that you're not outsourcing. So the build and assembly comes down to you.
Yep.
So is the VZ61 stuff taking up like the majority of your quote unquote work time,
Yeah,
even though
absolutely.
the design and other stuff?
Yep.
Well, is it monetarily effective to hire somebody to actually put stuff together for you?
So funny enough, I have a business partner in Idaho who's coming on to help me with all this stuff. He will be flying down to help me with assembly, but obviously that is only every other few weeks or so. He has a life out there. And with me living in a house, it's hard to hire someone to come into the house and do things.
Right.
But I have a friend who's moving in with his girlfriend, and I'll be taking on his girlfriend to do administrative tasks for me. So like social media administrative tasks, so I can focus on building and stuff. His girlfriend's moving in too. Yeah, sorry. I guess I should have.
Right. Okay. But see, here's the thing. There's alarm bells going off in my mind. So I'm like, okay, we have this 3D printer augtist who's now living with this polyamorous throuple, and they're building my augs in between their weed smoke gooning sessions, and I'm like, I don't know, man, this is weird now. This is strange.
No, nothing like that. I'm renting. I live in a 5-bedroom house, and I had 2 roommates. One just moved out, so it's just me and one roommate for this house, and we're just trying to get some of our friends to move in.
Gotcha. No, I mean, look, I had a college house with me and a couple other buddies. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as that goes, if it's just the building time, do you not have one nerdy guy that you can pay like, I don't know, $25 an hour to come in and build this stuff for you, right? Because I mean, I figure if you know what you're doing, it's probably not that mechanically complex of a task. Is that correct?
Well, it can be. Not really, but it can be. And the issue is finding someone trustworthy who will do good work. It's not easy to hire someone to just come into your house and do this type of stuff.
Well, if it's just a build, does it even need to be done like in your house? Like, for instance, if you know another gunsmith who can put this stuff together, can you go drop them off at his shop and say, hey, 2 weeks, can I get 10 of these built? I'll come back in 2 weeks for them, pay you flat rate for whatever it is, right?
In theory, perhaps. But then if something goes wrong with those, I'll still be on the hook for it. It's kind of one of those situations. If you want something done right, you do it yourself. So that's
totally understand. But if you simply don't have the physical time to get it done on top of all of your other orders, right? That's the problem,
Yep.
And then
that's the problem I'm running into.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. You have 3 design revisions that you did during the year where you had this guy's money, essentially, right?
Yep.
You did 3 different revisions. You built them once. You disassembled them, built them again on a new receiver, I imagine, right? There's a lot of trial and error that goes into the design phase before we're actually building products that are market ready.
Correct.
I have a couple questions.
Sorry, was that Richard?
I said I have a couple questions.
Yeah,
you said that you have how many people on a waiting list right now?
4,000 for AUGs and around 3,000 to 4,000 for the TA61s.
Okay, and out of those roughly 7,000 people, how many pre-orders have you taken?
So we tend to do pre-orders in batches. We try to do batches of close to like 20 to 30, just so we're not taking on too much work at the same time. And also it's purely dependent on how many kits we can get, because at one point it was getting pretty hard to get parts kits. So we try to keep pre-order batches low so we can try and keep up.
Okay, do you have a rough estimate of how many pre-orders you have on hand right now that you have not assembled or shipped out?
For TA61s, it's sitting right around the 30 mark. We just did a run. And then we opened up orders for the last minute orders for Colorado, Virginia, Rhode Island customers. And so we did a run of those. That was its own separate thing. And for the AUGs, it's probably sitting around 20 to 25 for the AUGs. But for the AUGs, we emphasized heavily for the AUGs and in our emails and everything marketing related that we know this sucks, but we don't have an ETA for getting these out because it's like TA61s take a priority, and we just, it's a bit labor intensive to do the AUGs.
Well, is that really what it comes down to? Just simply one is easier to do than the other, so you devote more time to the other?
Yeah, it can be.
Okay. Well, because I mean, the TFB TV video, pretty good, right? Over 100,000 views. The PSR video, 165,000 views. There's obviously a market for this. So, like, I don't know what your profit margins are, but in my mind, like the way that I do business, if I had essentially, let's say 28 parts kits sitting on my floor that I could make into like instantaneous selling products, right? They're going to sell. As soon as you build them, they're sold because there's 4,000 people on a waiting list. You're going to sell 28 parts kits. Like in my mind, it's just like whatever I have to do to get those sold. Of course I'm doing that. That's several grand in my pocket. Like, duh. Right.
I guess the complications for me is I still work a full-time day job. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but if you sell 28 parts kits, I'm just ballparking here.
Yep.
You're making probably like 4 to 5 grand.
For the AUGs, probably less. Our margins for the AUGs are specifically super low. I hate to use this terminology for them, but the AUGs are it's not the correct terminology. It's just the closest I can get to it. We kind of consider it a loss leader because we actually don't make that much money on them.
So I kind of get what you're saying here. So you have like all these people on a waiting list for a product that doesn't make any money.
And
so
hard to get kids.
So
it's
you're
hard
not
to get kids. Yeah.
Well, sure, but so you're not really even interested in making it because you don't make that much money on it.
No, so my interest, it's going to sound so cliche, but my interest for the AUGs really isn't the money-making aspect of it. I just like the idea of having this product exist out in the wild, even if it takes time.
So do the customers.
Sure. Well, but it only exists in the wild when you physically make it, though, right? And so, so you have, because I mean, technically, somebody else could print and make these, right? Because it is open source. So somebody else could do that, right, if they wanted to. But again, you have 4,000 people who are there's a weird combination of people who are a fan of 3D printing but will never do it themselves. They just want somebody else to make it for them so that they can have it like a little bit cheaper. Like, what does a cheap AUG go for? Like a real AUG, like 1,300?
Yeah, 13 to 14.
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're saving like $500, $400.
It's a lot. In my opinion, it is a lot of money, but I think my customers understand this as well because I've been public about this. But the Steyr AUG it's going to be better in every single way. I think my demographic and customers in particular are people who understand that the gap to a real Steyr AUG is not that far, but they also like the idea of having a cool and unique product and are willing to pay $900 for. I think that's kind of where my demographic is.
No, I agree that, I mean, $900 might sound like a lot of money to certain people, but just purely for the novelty of it, like I've spent $1,400 on novelties, right?
Yeah.
So not everybody's in the same price category, but again, there's interest there. There's 4,000 people waiting for it essentially.
Yep.
So I mean, honestly, you should probably just raise your price by like $150, and then just get it done. Because listen, you're gonna sell them all. Okay, you're going to sell them all.
It's funny. You sound like a lot of my friends and family. They beg me all the time to increase prices on my products, and I'm like,
just a little bit. Okay, we're not going wild here, but listen, no, I did business for 7 years and I lost money for the first 6. Okay, so. And yes, I sold at like 8% margin. You can't actually do that, right? Now I'm in a position where I have a wife and 3 kids. I can't do that. My time can't be free, right? Because if my time is free, that's money, that's food out of my kid's mouth, right? So I can't do that.
Well,
so again, you might not have that responsibility now, but you kind of do need to make money at some point.
I actually do have a kid, so.
There you go, man. you shouldn't be doing the work for free. If you did all the development and the design phase to get this up and running to the point where it is now, you are the guy who did that. It's part of your prerogative to extract reward from that, right? So raise your prices by a little bit, bro. Just make it worth your time. That's all it has to be, okay? You don't need to be a millionaire. It's just got to be worth your time a little bit. And let me tell you, there's a reason why your friends and family are advising you in this way, is because it makes sense, Yeah. If I had a friend who like was running ragged on both ends and he was doing this really cool thing, but he just like never had enough money to make it work, it's like, well, listen, bro, you're already putting in the work. Just get paid for it. That's it. Because again, if you cut your wait list in half by upping the price by like $100, you're still going to get rid of all the product. You're still going to ship it all.
It's going to sell. If my closest friends and family, as well as complete strangers, were telling me my price is too low, I might think about raising my price. Yeah, 900. I can see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to.
Well, and I honestly, I commend you for wanting to keep your price as low as possible. Like, I think that's a good moral position to take. But it is not immoral to make money on something that you worked on and designed on. Like, that's not actually a bad thing to do.
Yep.
Especially if you're still, shaving like $300-400 off of a full price AUG.
Completely,
right? Yeah. And again, this isn't for serious combat shooters dropping into Ukraine tomorrow. This is for nerds, right? This is for people who are interested in the product. They might be interested in you. They've seen the marketing. They think it's cool. Maybe some of the features are attractive to them for whatever reason. Okay, it's for those guys. It's not a combat rifle. You can make a little bit of money off of it. You're still saving people money. You'll do fine. Okay, just and also, like, sometimes when you make a little bit more money, it magically motivates you to get things done faster. Like, that does actually happen. Okay, it's a real thing. Because there's been times in my past where I'm like, I know that I just lost money on this order, so I'm not necessarily a happy camper about doing it. But if you flip that, and it's like, oh, I made a little bit of money on this order. Now I'm actually a happy camper. I'm motivated, right? And it puts me in the right mental space. So that's what I would recommend to you, okay? Because especially if you want to be in this game for a long time, at some point you're going to have to, buy a house and get married and have kids and do all this other stuff, and you got to have money to do that, okay? It's not free, unfortunately.
No, for sure.
If you wanted to run a loss leader on something like what John did for several years, pinned and welded gas blocks, that's something that gets your name out there that doesn't cost a lot, not a whole lot of time. A $900 to $1,000 loss leader, brother.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time and money, and to still end up throwing in some mags every once in a while because you're running behind on orders.
Yeah,
that's going to eat into your profit margins really quick, and that ends up eating into your profits that can go towards your kid. So
yeah.
Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you giving us your time and going through the whole interrogation process. Is there anything else that you want to say or go over before we kick you on out of here?
Yeah. First of all, I'm slightly insulted that the only picture of a project vehicle sent in was my MR2. I also own a supercharged all-wheel drive Toyota Previa that's lifted. Cool. That I posted right before that didn't get sent in. So a little hurt about that one because that's the cooler vehicle.
MR2 is classic, bro. Every time I see one of those, I'm like, dude, I forgot when Toyota make cooled cars.
If you think the MR2 is cool, look into the Previa. It's way cooler, I promise. I think that's really it. I think what started this conversation, I guess, in general with this customer is I've always felt this way. I know that I need to get my act together overall. It's not just him. I have issues elsewhere that I'm actively trying to work on. My communication, for one, sucks. That's easy to find out. And again, it's hard with me just managing things. And I'm hoping when I get help here in a month or so, it'll get managed and ironed out. On top of, I guess, the 3D printing stuff, that's just, that's it right there. That's the Previa. So
I would have never guessed this is what you were talking about. Cooler than an MR2. Okay.
I'm telling you, it is mid-engine. It's supercharged. And it is all-wheel drive. They made them rear-wheel drive too, and it has a solid rear axle. So
wait, where's the engine?
It's in literally. Okay, so do you see the driver's seat in the picture?
Yeah,
it's a little bit under and behind the driver's seat.
How? What is it?
What do you mean? That's where it is.
No, I understand that.
It sits on its side, so it's an inline 4, but they tilt it on its side.
Right.
And to run all the accessories, it has a shaft that goes to the front, and that's what drives the accessory. Like under the hood, you still have your alternator and supercharger and cool stuff. But yeah, the thing's
wacky.
sweet.
Okay, all right.
I really want to. I wish I could send a picture of mine, and mine's a little bit cooler in my opinion. But
yeah, you're like, hey, don't show them the mom minivan, okay? Show them the cool one.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's a dad minivan. It has a front shaft.
It does have a front shaft.
Yeah. All right, Richard. All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time. That was Corbin from Titus Arms. Thanks very much for hanging out, good sir. Ship the uppers or the Augs tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tomorrow, okay? I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night, man. All right. That was fun. That was way more fun than I thought it was going to be originally. You never know. You never know, because sometimes it's going to be like really confrontational and it's going to be wacky and things are just going to go everywhere. But I think that went well. I think that was pretty nice. So thanks to Corbin. Check him out. Fingers crossed. Okay, yeah. Everybody needs to get your act together. 26 years old, young man. Okay, but just gotta ship products. All you gotta do. All right. JMC for 5 says, get Charlie K in here on him if you're going to be this nice. I can be nice. I'm pretty nice sometimes. The Wrong Neighborhood for 5 says, I usually lurk. You giving this kid a chance to rehab his image is very gracious of you. Titus, bro, you should be really grateful for this opportunity. Well, I mean, he did take a little bit of initiative to come in the chat and to defend himself. I'm always willing to have people on. JL Gonis for 2 says, please get a light from above to fix the Jew cap. There's no cap here, okay, guys? Unbelievable. I'm just going to go bald forever so you guys can't accuse me of my Talmudic tendencies. Oh, hey, Achamentar says, White Boy Wednesday, Christ is King, Joshua 1-5, very anti-Semitic of you. Joshua 1-5. Joshua 1-5 says, no one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life, as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Thank you, Atramentar. Very based of you. Carver for 2 says he's finishing the AUG right now as fast as he can. Yeah, that was probably sent in while he was off camera getting it. That would be very funny. Thank you, Carver. JB 50 cal for 10 says, as someone who works in shipping, making a UPS label days or, God forbid, months early is crazy. Good way to F with your customer. Yeah. There are times where, like, if I know a product or like a specific part is coming in on Monday, I'll print the label on Friday because I know I'm going to get it out on Monday anyways, and it's not like it's going to ship Saturday or Sunday. So there are times like that where I'll print a label like 3 or 4 days ahead of schedule if I know like when a specific part is coming in. Thank you, JB. Basecamp for 5 says, I'm releasing a video tomorrow that is very bullpup heavy. Well, heavy as in the bullpups are heavy, or there are a lot of bullpups? Because I think both of those things are probably true. We've been shooting them for 3 months. Horrible time. Well, go check out Basecamp Training. Great channel. Unfortunately, they'll be shooting AUGs tomorrow, but you can't help it sometimes. Zanico for 2 says, ask him why the polymer is still warm. You guys are nice. Yeah, he's like literally just running them off the printer to get it done. 94 Todd for 5 says, pretty wild that took a year, considering I built my own Nylog last year in just 3 days using the publicly available files and for less than 500 bones. Well, again, I don't know anything about 3D printing. I do know that he revised the prints 3 times in that year time frame. Again, customer relationships, they're easy to break, hard to mend, okay? Mass Mark for 5 says, I'm a geezer. How do I not pay the dot heads? By the way, the RDB and Hellion are weirdly okay. I have heard people say that the RDB, or not the RDB, sorry, that the Hellion is okay. And I don't think I've ever shot the Hellion. I don't think I ever want to shoot the Hellion. But I'll take your word for it. The RDB, though, for like 500 bones is good. Also, the link to not pay for Indians is Ko-Fi. It should be pinned in the chat. And it just, all that is it circumvents YouTube censorship. And instead of them taking 30 to 50% of whatever you super chat, they only take like 5%. So it's way better. So you can super chat a lot less and get a lot more words out. Sinastral Rifleman, Russell Fagans, for 5 says, fast. We'll be adding a bullpup division in 2027. No more excuses, armpit feeders. Dude, you got to be careful, okay? I thought feet people were weird. Richard, I don't know if you've ever run into this type of person, but armpit people, they do exist. It's a real thing.
Yeah, I think Arrow might be one.
Arrow's an armpit person? I thought Jake was bad with his toe obsession. Damn. Okay. Put your weirdo rifles to the test. Well, is that even fair? Are bullpups really that much worse than ARs that you can't even have them in the same division?
Yes.
I mean, I've never ran a match with one, but just in my mind, I'm like, it can't be that much worse. Like, I'm sure some of the positional stuff and some of the long range stuff maybe isn't as fun with a bipod, but probably have to figure it out.
Reloading from prone with a bipod on an AUG?
Well, that's why you don't reload, dude. Magpul D60s. Local gun shop is full of tards. Not, of course, then some of your bullpups don't even take Stanag pattern magazines. So, local gun shop is full of tards. No, not one staff member knew what a Set-Me G3, FAL, or HK91 was. In Colorado, even the gun guys don't know about guns. Well, listen, okay, maybe if you talked about a gun made this century, they would know about it. But listen, like, I don't think I've ever shot a G3. I don't think I've ever shot a FAL. And I've never held a Set-Me or an HK91. So I wouldn't know. I mean, I could figure it out, obviously, but I've also never played with those. Thank you, a man guy dude. Psycho Dragon, member for 12 months, says, nothing infuriates me as much as people who agree to a job that pays money, but just sit on it and don't do the job. Bitch, do you want money or no? Well, that's the thing, right? The contract is, as soon as I give you money, you do the thing that you promised to do, right? That's it. I give you money, you do thing. Pretty simple. Thank you, Psycho Dragon. Sanast Rifleman for 2 says 4,000 orders is enough to justify making a mold. Well, 4,000 waitlisters. That's not orders. What does a mold cost? Like 50K? So like what, $100 per order roughly? Yeah, probably. I mean, obviously there's volume. There is enough demand there to make money, like to make an American AUG off of, you know, what did he say, Polynesian parts kits or whatever it is. So an American chassis with those parts kits. Maybe that's a big enough market to actually justify that many. They're making a mold for it. Polly B for $20 says, Sellers Market, Chief. Hold the Ogtis balls over the fire. They deserve it. Also, hit us with that OG big toe money. Thank you very much, Polly B. This one's on you.
This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, take money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good. Your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Take money, big toe money. That's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody.
Thank you, Polly B, once again for that $20. Round of applause. Hickok for 2. Great name. Just hire illegals like Bear Creek Arsenal. Man, a bullpup made by illegal hands. No, thank you. Hickok 45. Imagine the smell of Ogtis and illegals in the same room. Sea Runner for 2 says, could have built and shipped 3 rifles during the stream. Yeah, no, I can build out an upper start to finish, including the lapping process, in about 25 minutes. So I think I could have gotten 4 out. Thank you, Sea Runner. Zanico for 2 says, Mike nuked my laptop. Call him. I want to chat. Thank you, Zanico. Josh Manfred, last minute question, says, John, best ear pro for a match. Been using walkers and my ears ring after every match. Yeah, so Josh, that is a great question. I double up on hearing protection. So I have a pair of auto ears that they sent me. I've been using them for like a year now. Basically, they're just like nice gel cups, so they're really comfy. The sound rating isn't the best, but they're so comfortable that I wear them at every match. And what I do is I put in little foamies, like that basically don't do anything, but the combination of like little foamies and the auto ears is so comfortable and knocks out all the sound, like no discomfort at all. It even has Bluetooth, so I can listen to what I want to listen to. That's what I use at a match. Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah,
and you can turn them up really loud so you still hear stuff. Thank you, Josh Manfred. Appreciate that. It's weird, but the combination works.
Yeah, I've used it for quite a while, especially even when I'm out hunting. Like I'll crank the volume way up to where I can hear even little twigs and stuff snapping in the background. But if I need to take a shot, the foamy is still protected. So it doesn't help that I've had tinnitus for like 15 years because I was retarded when I was a kid.
Well, that's the thing, right? I shoot so much, like 1,000 rounds a week, so I'm just trying to, save as much as I can. So I always just double up. I just try and keep my hearing for as long as possible. Okay, Ko-Fi. Let's get through some of these guys, ladies and gentlemen. Oberg Switchion for $20 says absolutely nothing. Drops $20 on the table, backs out without saying a single word.
Kill yourself, faggot. Skibbity Toilet Riz. Okay.
Some of those we haven't seen in a while. Skibbity Toilet Riz. I forgot about that one.
This is a retarded take.
Thank you very much for that. That is incredibly based of you, Oberg Switchion. You probably meant to send a message and just forgot to attach it, so I kind of feel bad. But yeah, sorry. Sabardic Psycho for 10 says, John, emergency. I think there's something wrong with your teeth. I need to pull them out. All of them to make sure they're okay. I'm here for you, good friend. Oh, buddy, do I love Sabardic Psycho and his wacky dentistry. Cardinal Kibbles, for $3 on Ko-Fi says, long-time voter, first-time caller.
Nigga!
Wrong one.
Gay.
It's my Friday. Hope everyone's week is going well. 1 Timothy 1:15 through 17. Is that the one about women? Okay, my Timothy senses are on right now. Of course, it doesn't pull up when I want the one time where I ask it to do exactly what I want. 15 through 17 says, here is a trustworthy saying. Is that the one? I just got to make sure I grab the right one for him. Yeah, 1 Timothy 1:15 through 17. 1 Timothy 1:15 through 17 says, here is a trustworthy saying that deserves full acceptance. Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am the worst. But for that very reason, I was shown mercy, so that in me, the worst sinners, Christ Jesus might display his immense patience as an example for those who would believe in him and receive eternal life. Now to the King, eternal, immortal, invisible, the only God, be honor and glory forever and ever. Amen. Well, thank you very much. That is not the Timothy passage I thought you were citing, but still incredibly based. Thank you very much, Cardinal Kibbles. Chips Debo for 10 says, every time I try to send a super chat with Christ's name in it, it won't allow me to send it. Christ is king. Well, thank you very much, Chips Debo. And he also renews his Ko-Fi Caffeine Creep membership, which is very, very based. Thank you. Thank you. Amorite Boy for 2 says, Nylog and Kaylee cans crossover when? I keep having people send me the Kaylee's cans thing, and I'm just not going to look into it. I know what you guys want me to say, okay, but I'm just not. Stephen Rivas, member for 5 months, says, I'll be catching the replay at work. Have a blessed night, everyone. Stay prayed up, and in the word, Christ is king. Christ is king. Thank you, Stephen Rivas. Appreciate you, good sir. All right, let's get into Rage Bait, shall we? Okay, so here we have, Richard, you probably saw this, but guess what? San Francisco PD drone live streams exposed operations online for months, investigation shows. So I know that people are worried about flock cameras and everything else, but listen, okay, they've been using old drone tech to monitor you for months now, probably even longer, right? It's been a long, long time. But listen, the totalitarian police state is here. It's just under the surface, like a little bit, okay? The surveillance state is here. They're just building up the infrastructure and people are just starting to notice. But this is, we're here, okay? It's the end times. It's cyberpunk. It's just more gay and cringe than we wanted it to be.
Does nobody remember from 2020 when the riots were happening and Rittenhouse made it all the way to trial before people realized that they had FBI high definition footage of the entire incident?
Well, of course they did magically. I mean, I'm sure it's like the January 6th thing, right? Where they couldn't figure out who dropped off the bombs for like 4 years, 5 years almost. And then afterwards it was like, oh yeah, we've had footage like the entire time. And it's whatever though. It just came to light now. Just don't worry about it. So A Wired investigation, which is actually going to feature a familiar face in just a moment, published Monday, found that live feeds from San Francisco Police Department drones were accessible online for months through an improperly secured web link, allowing anyone with the address to watch police operations as they unfolded. According to the report, the exposed live streams showed officers tracking suspects, securing neighborhoods, and responding to calls across San Francisco. In a statement, SFPD said the link was intended for law enforcement use only and was not authorized to be shared with the public. The link was improperly obtained and accessed by individuals without authorization, the department said. SFPD said it immediately disabled the link after learning of the issue and implemented more restrictive sharing protocols. The department said it has no information indicating anyone other than the researchers accessed the live feeds and that the matter remains under investigation. SFPD said drones are only authorized for use in active criminal investigations, doubtful, to assist with or to replace vehicle pursuits and for training purposes. So if we're not going to read this whole article here, but we do have a short video kind of going through the situation by Mr. Andy Greenberg. Now listen, okay, a bit of a jump scare. I know, okay, it shocks me too. But this guy, we've actually talked about before. He's a writer / journalist for Wired, and he did the expose a while ago on the 3D printing community. If you remember, he was featured in a video that unfortunately got my channel or my video taken off of YouTube, my live stream taken off of YouTube, but it was James Reeves of TFB TV, PSR, and maybe one other guy were doing work with this guy, with Mr. Greenberg, in kind of an expose on ghost guns and 3D printing and that sort of stuff. So James was there in both a, as a lawyer and as a gun guy, and then PSR was there, and they were kind of going through the whole process of how to build a gun. And, Mr. Greenberg here was very scared and shook. And there's the very famous photo of him going like squinting through it as he's like 3D printing both a gun and a suppressor, I want to say, with PSR like right next to him. But anyways, so we've seen this guy before. He's done work in the gun industry. Well, going after the gun industry, I guess you could say, going against you 3D printers.
To see this. The only reason you are is because cops in San Francisco live streamed highly sensitive surveillance drone footage on the open web. Security researchers Sam Curry and Mike Robert found that a link on the drone platform Skydio publicly revealed real-time San Francisco police drone footage from both color and thermal cameras recorded by 5 Skydio quadcopters as they flew around the city. The researchers reported the leak to Skydio, but by the time the link was taken down, Curry and Robert had already recorded and shared with Wired around 3 hours of video from 2 days of exposed drone flights.
And I mean, this is just modern city life. You have police drones in the air 24/7 with, HD cameras and thermal overlays just watching people. Now, this is San Francisco, okay? So there's a lot of crime to be watching. As you can see, there's some hoodlums, okay? There's some people doing activities. And this is part and parcel of modern life, okay? You want a diverse, vibrant ecosystem for your modern day safari, you're going to need some high-tech surveillance tool to keep it all in order. And of course, if they happen to spy on good, average, everyday American citizens, well, that's kind of just a byproduct of the whole process.
Footage shows, for instance, police surrounding and tackling a man hiding in a parking lot, viewed from multiple quadcopters, police jumping off scooters to detain another man, and a view of police inside an apartment in a high-rise building. None of this should have ever been exposed, but it now provides a revealing glimpse of modern drone-based police surveillance.
Now, I'm actually curious, guys. Okay, so I live in a nothing, nowhere place, right? Just outside of Sioux Falls. I don't think I'm in a big enough area where our PDs are deploying drones. Like I don't think I've ever seen a police drone, like a quadcopter, just monitoring the situation. Does anybody in chat, do you guys live in an area where you see these on the regular?
So, story time. I worked in a port for a couple years. I seen Fish and Wildlife as well as Florida state law enforcement using drones to bust people in the water who were out drinking and driving with their boats, and as soon as they would dock, they would get swarmed and arrested.
Of course. Well, I mean, kind of like it makes sense, right? Because think about it, like helicopters, obviously very powerful, very effective in terms of like where they can surveil with, modern cameras and all that sort of stuff. But a drone is so much cheaper. It's so much more effective. You can have so many more of them, and you don't need to waste a pilot's time You just have a drone operator sitting in a desk somewhere, you know? And they're way cheaper. Like for every one helicopter, you can have a dozen drones, right? And you can, be paying, drone operator 40, $50 an hour rather than like $100 to $200 an hour, not including maintenance and stuff on the helicopters, right? So, I mean, it does make sense from an economic standpoint, but it makes surveillance so much more effective, especially like you're saying, like if you're monitoring boats, there's only one way to do that, and that's with something in the air. And so it's either going to be a helicopter, it's going to be a drone. And big quadcopters that have loiter times in the hours, they can just, hang out and do their high-tech surveillance and then wait for them to pull in where police are already waiting for you. Town near me, less than 20,000 people has a drone they've sent up a few times. I mean, drones make a lot of sense too, not just for like criminal activity, but think about like search and rescue. Like if you can have a thermal drone doing overwatch on search and rescue, somebody's lost in the mountains, somebody's lost in the woods, that can make that job so much easier because you can cover so much more ground with like a thermal drone versus like, 100 people on the ground, right?
Well, that was
go ahead.
That was the initial guys as to why Fish and Wildlife got permission to get funds for their drones and the thermal overlays and such, was specifically because it's so much easier to find people during a search and rescue mission. If it's an overturned vessel or something like that, it's much easier to spot them with a thermal overlay when you're scanning miles and miles of coastline.
Well, that's how they sell it though. That's the packaging, right? Is like, dude, this is going to be so good. It's going to help spot fires, search and rescue. It's going to save lives. It's going to do XYZ so much better. And then what it's actually used for is just monitoring the civilian populace. Of course, that's just what it turns into. Whether or not the original intention was good or not, or they're just trying to package it in a good way, like it always just gets used to spy on the American public.
Questionable incident described in police records as a prowler investigation. A drone zooms in on an oblivious young person wearing headphones on the roof of a building. In another investigation described as an alleged theft from a vehicle, a drone follows a car for 10 minutes until two men get out and start innocently playing basketball. When Wired reached out to the San Francisco Police Department, it responded in a statement calling the exposed drone video stream an internal restricted link that is for SFPD law enforcement purposes only, and wrote that it had been improperly obtained and accessed by individuals.
No, so here's the thing, Julio. Shotguns will not be effective for these style of drones that operate at like 1,000 feet in the air. Right? These are technically like low altitude, but these are way outside of range of most like conventional style weaponry. Especially these big ones like commercial drones. These aren't like, flying a couple hundred feet in the air. These have a much higher ceiling.
Without authorization. But Curry and Roberts say they didn't bypass any security or gain unauthorized access to anything. Instead, someone with access to the SFPD's Skydio instance appears to have created a link last December to 5 of its drone's feeds with no authentication and an expiration date of 1 full year. The SFPD's drone policy requires pilots to minimize inadvertent recording of uninvolved people and places. But according to Wired's analysis of the videos, the drone cameras filmed hundreds of people and vehicles across just the 20 flight recordings we obtained, with dozens of faces captured in some single frames of the videos. The security researchers were struck by how, in all the videos they watched, no one ever looks up or attempts to hide from the drone, suggesting...
Well, again, because the drones are really far away, you don't actually hear them.
Researchers were struck by how, in all the videos they watched, no one ever looks up or attempts to hide from the drone, suggesting that their small size and high altitude make them virtually invisible. In other words, you would never even know that you were being watched, unless, of course, you find a link to a video stream of that police surveillance available on the public internet. For more on the SFPD's drone video...
I mean, there's ways to, like, obviously, if you're trying to find a drone in the sky and you have, like, any of the anti-drone devices that can locate and detect them, then obviously they're not too difficult to find. But if you're just walking about on a street in San Francisco, you're probably paying attention to the cars going by and the other people and vagrants on the street than you are like a little black dot 1,000 feet above you, right? It's basically, they might as well be invisible unless you're looking for it, like you're never actually going to see it or pay attention to it. But it's going to be following you, monitoring you, tracking you, noting where you go, and it's all going to be fed into some Palantir database somewhere while they, track literally every facet of your life in this dystopian future that we are currently experiencing.
Yeah, I think you kind of need to prioritize your threat levels there.
Well, exactly, right? Are you going to be worried about a drone 1,000 feet in the sky, or are you going to be worried about the homeless guy who's like shuffling towards you slowly and you don't know? Is he a threat? Is he just doing his homeless shuffle? Is he doing the fent lean? Like, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, but one of these things is actually a clear and present danger, right? Now, on top of that, it's like, well, how is this information used? Well, one, it can be accessed by people that shouldn't. I say shouldn't have access to it like anyone should, but it can be accessed by people like you and me if we just like have a link to some of this stuff if it's not secured. Two, the government can just use it as they usually do, which is to say misuse it. So Trudeau, of course, the now former Prime Minister of Canada, I forget who's in there right now, used faked intelligence to illegally frame protesting truckers as violent extremists. I forgot about this situation. Do you remember the truck rallies where they were doing the honking and the stuff like that? This was a couple years ago. And then they froze bank accounts and they did all the stuff to try and shut them down. They put people in jail. And it comes out, of course, after the fact that all of that stuff is illegal. But again, point being that these people will put you on a list, track you, surveil you, make up information about you, and then use that to punish you in your everyday life. So should you trust these people? Go ahead.
Because it got worse too, because people who had similar names were having their bank accounts frozen just because they had the same name as somebody at the protest.
Well, that's the thing, is they're going to try and punish you, but be too incompetent to actually punish the right person.
That's what happened.
Yep. Well, now, speaking of the system working as intended, this blew up on X. And I don't know if you saw this or heard about this, Richard, but there was a woman lawyer, of course, bragging about getting a life verdict on a death penalty case. And she posted on X like this celebratory gif of Alyssa Liu doing her little, skating routine, and everybody likes Alyssa Liu, la la la. It's a gif though about her celebrating the fact that she just got a death sentence downgraded to a life sentence. Now, that seems like an odd thing to be celebrating on its face, right, Richard? Am I tracking here? That seems strange to celebrate the downgrading of a death sentence to a life sentence via a GIF on X, right?
I'm guessing she's probably a middle-aged white woman, probably slightly overweight.
Well, there's something else. So the reason I have it screenshotted here is because she ended up deleting it because she got a lot of pushback. Because the reason, so she was defending a 58-year-old Martinez man who raped and murdered a 93-year-old grandma. And she's celebrating saving his life with a funny little GIF on X. Like, it's so unserious and evil that this is how our system is working, that the female lawyer who successfully removes the death sentence from her client, who's a 58-year-old rapist murderer of a 93-year-old woman. Again, the story is disgusting. So, victim was a 93-year-old, just finished her birthday party, was dropped off at her senior center. The murderer was dating her daughter, 5'5", 290 pounds, roly-poly-oly here. He got into the facility, had been watching older adult porn multiple times a day, sexually abused and strangled her. They found her naked, dead on the floor. And then the lawyer is posting cringe boomer slop memes for saving his life. Imagine your grandma naked, defiled, strangled to death, and the female foid lawyer is posting GIFs on X about getting the murderer off of a death penalty. It's just so grotesque. So Javier Rosado Martinez, sentenced to life for murder of 93-year-old Orange County woman. A 58-year-old man has been sentenced to life in prison without parole for the 2222 murder and attempted sexual battery of a 93-year-old woman. Javier Rosado Martinez was convicted in the killing of Dolores Padillo Marrero. The state attorney's office said Florida prosecutors sought the death penalty because of the nature of the crime. Now, I think that is fair. I think this guy deserves the death penalty. Mr. Martinez deserves a death penalty. You raped and murdered someone's grandma. Like, again, it's like opposite ends of the spectrum. Okay, anything you do to like the most vulnerable people in society, like you just have to be like removed, right? You do anything against a child, removed. You do anything against an elderly invalid, removed, right? We just don't need you here. We're gonna take both of and what's the opposite of a pedophile? Where they're attracted to old people, whatever that happens to be. We're just killing both of you guys, right? We're just getting rid of both of you guys. Okay, the opposite ends of the spectrum both need to be brown biomass. So he also received a consecutive 5-year prison sentence for the attempted sexual battery. Miss Padilla Moreo was a woman who opened her home to someone she trusted, and he repaid that trust with unspeakable violence, State Attorney Monique Worrell said. Worrell said the sentence ensures Rosado Martinez will not be able to harm anyone else and expressed hope that the outcome provides some measure of closure for Padilla Morero's family. No, closure would be him dead, either swinging from a rope or firing squad or whatever other, sentence that, whatever death sentence you can think of. Okay, I think all would be appropriate and actually provide real closure. Now, it doesn't just end there. With, again, the disgusting lawyer, Boyd lawyer here, celebrating getting off, both metaphorically and literally, of Javier Rosado Martinez. But then she follows it up. Let me pull up her icon here. This is Beth Bourbon. Yeah.
Oh, I was right.
And basically. Anyways, Foyd lawyer says, scrolling through Twitter, I'm seeing quote tweets of my tweet, and it appears I have triggered a lot of men who cannot handle a woman as a defense attorney. No, we hate the fact that you're celebrating getting a rapist murderer off of a death sentence. The rapist murderer deserved the death sentence, and you stopped justice from happening. They cannot handle that I am proud to have saved a life. Foyds are delusional. Foyds have gone insane. Beth thinks that she's the hero of this story. Beth's the villain. Beth is literally the villain of this story who saved the evil ass rape man from getting justice. And she's painting herself as the hero of the story, but she's so retarded that she doesn't understand that she is the villain. They can't handle that I morally don't believe in the death penalty. Who cares? I also believe that it violates the 8th Amendment. Don't care what you believe. They don't believe in the 6th Amendment's right to counsel. They're actively wishing me dead for doing my job and calling me a whore because of my job. Weirdest part. Well, you're a whore for other reasons, not because of your job. If you believe in the death penalty, that's fine. Many do, but the irony of wishing me dead to say that murder is wrong and thus the death penalty is good is very puzzling. No. You stopping justice could, in some world, depending on if we switch the rules around a little bit, we could just say that is in of itself worthy of the death penalty and get rid of you from there. Now, she went into more detail in another tweet. I don't know if it's here. Well, yeah, you can tell that she's a retarded lefty. ICE agents are killing people. They can do their jobs without terrorizing community. And she's, of course, getting ratioed. And this sums it up, right? That sums it up. Idiotic statement. Oh, wow. So many triggered people. That's crazy. Granny got the Beth penalty. That's actually funny. That is actually funny. And again, yeah, these people are just absolutely evil degenerates. You do not need to have pity on them in any way, shape, or form. So again, this is the same person celebrating the death of a Republican senator, celebrates preventing the death of a murderer. What common ground am I supposed to seek with these people? None at all. You don't need to appease these people. You don't need to reason with these people. These people are beyond your help, far beyond your help. All right. Well,
she's a state attorney.
She's a defense attorney of some sort. Criminal defense attorney by day. Help me in my spare time. Go here to your Patreon. I'm not going to your Patreon. Wait, help me help Ken Klippenstein. Klippenstein. What a funny last name that is.
I remember that name.
That's really weird. anyways, in the same way that our justice system is just horribly, like, basically beyond repair at this point in time, right? So here you have a similar case. This was from a while ago. Illegal alien who killed 3 with his truck in California, sentenced to under 5 years in prison. So you can essentially murder 3 people on the road and get less than a 5-year prison sentence. And Kirsch is, of course, saying we don't have a justice system, which I mostly agree with. Like, 1.5 years per person, per murdered person, through just sheer negligence and just being Indian. They kind of like run together. The Venn diagram there is basically one circle. Like, I can't believe, obviously I can't, it's California with California judges, but the idea that you can just murder 3 people and only get less than 5 years while you have literally removed 3 people from existence who should actually be here. I guarantee you this guy probably didn't have a valid CDL, probably wasn't up on all of his immigration stuff if he was even supposed to be here in the first place. And these people are giving him lighter sentences than Dugan Ashley for making YouTube videos, right? This guy can literally go out there and murder, kill people through extreme negligence, being a retarded Indian, and get less of a sentence, get 8 times less of a sentence than Dugan Ashley is facing currently for, again, making YouTube videos. So anytime somebody talks to you about the American justice system, just remember that it's basically a contradiction in terms. And the rest of the world is not much better, okay? Because here we have, over across the pond, I know they just got kicked out of the World Cup, which I'm glad to hear. Sub-Saharan migrant rapes 4-year-old French girl, gets checks notes, 18 months in prison. Family and friends are demanding real justice for any real justice, like for any native. 2-tier sentencing enabling horrors. Europe's leaders failing their own children. Deport the threats and protect the innocent.
Dissimulé derrière les documents de sa condamnation, Souleymane des 25 ans ne fera aucun commentaire.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this just looks like another French man to you, right? It's just like listen, he's obviously just a normal French man, right? This is just a French phenotype that we're looking at here, right? You know, just going about doing his normal French activities of raping a 4-year-old. Very French coded, am I right?
Well, I believe France was one of the first countries to willingly lower the age of consent to 13.
Well, 13 is not 4. Now, is it, Richard? Okay, if it was 13, we'd be having a different conversation. But no, France is probably the worst. Okay, if there was one country that like needs a revolution the most, ironically, that's also had the most revolutions, it would be France. Okay, they just need to keep doing it over and over again. At some point, they'll eventually get it right. You know. Yeah, 5 minutes on a ball peen hammer. Yeah, 18 months, rape of a 4-year-old. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think that stands. I don't think that's justice. I think we can have a more permanent solution to
a
this.
prononcé une peine de 18 mois de prison avec sursis à l'encontre de cet ex.
Oh no, go back like one frame. Please don't tell me that is the judge.
Yep.
Just normal French people. Just very French. Ironically, the only French people here are some of the women and the police officers.
Rencontre de cet ex-animateur périscolaire jugé pour agression sexuelle sur une petite fille alors qu'elle avait entre 3 et 5 ans.
Where's that the judge? That looks like a kid. Am I crazy?
Pour les parents et leur avocat.
On espère sincèrement qu'il ne fera pas appel.
Oh, that's the advocate of the family of the victim.
advocate.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the family lawyer. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think France is unfortunately way ahead of us in a lot of ways. They might be like what's the word that I'm looking for? The pioneer for all of this. If you want to see how America is going to be in a few years, just look at France. I mean, most of our cities already look worse than French cities, right? In terms of demographics and in terms of policing, we're not far behind, right? It's going to be a mix of totalitarian judgment for French people, and invaders can literally rape your children and get almost nothing. Well, no, and I agree. It's like the judges obviously handing down these sentences need to be dealt with, and the police that are enforcing it, because again, the enforcement mechanism is the police. The police are the people that stop. They are the ones that are enforcing it, first off, and they're also the ones stopping judgment from actually being passed. Because they will absolutely use maximum force of law. Like if I, threw a brick at this guy's head, I'm just saying, not this guy on screen, but on the rapist's head, I would probably get sentenced to a much longer, in this hypothetical Minecraft world where I, threw a brick at the guy's head repeatedly. I would probably get a longer sentence than he did for raping a 4-year-old, right? Because that is like a white person doing a crime is evil, and a black person doing a crime is like, oh, well, he just didn't know any better. Yeah, every day. People used to quote that like 10, 15 years ago before I was ever paying attention. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's just a silly little one-off. And then every day it's like, yeah, maybe maybe if, the people on D-Day could see what they were fighting for. Like, listen, I'm fighting for a gay mulatto trans granddaughter. It's like, are you though? Are you really? You see all your buddies die and, the greatest generation get removed. And then you see what happens 60, 70 years later, and you're like, maybe it wasn't worth it. Maybe that wasn't the right call. Hindsight's 2020, though.
Did you see that one interview with the World War II? I forget if he was Army. Either way, he was one of the last surviving members of his unit, and he was basically in tears on Memorial Day, stating
no,
that
I've seen several interviews over the last couple of years. A lot of the the last of the World War II vets essentially coming forward and saying like it wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
like why did we go? Why did we do this? Like I don't recognize the country that I fought for.
Those videos break my heart, man.
Oh, it's terrifying. Well, I mean, think about it. You lived your life. You fought for king and country, and you see the results of your actions. What you thought was altruistic, what you thought was the great sacrifice, what you thought was a great act of service was turned against you and ended up just being a knife in your own back, right? And that's what a lot of these people fought and died for. Watch their friends die for.
Yeah.
But okay, now. I also want to get into policing because there's been some, I mean, we all know this instinctively to be true, but I just want to reinforce this for certain people that the justice system in America, as bad as it is on paper, right? You just have to remember that it's so much worse than what's actually reported. Because as you can see here, we have Hector Javier Alicia, a white man from very white man here from Pennsylvania, charged with sexual assault, very white. We have white man facing 6 charges of rape, accused of assaulting 2 young girls. Okay, white, sure. We have Abhishek Shah and Bhakhvia Shah, a couple white people who raped people, apparently, just more white people committing crimes, as you will. Here we have another tally here of Vivjay Sharma, Rakesh, Manish, Anil, Shandeep, Rajiv, Gurpreet, Arun, Shirag, Mahesh, Neeraj, Abhishek, Bhakhva, Sharendra, Sudhir, Dilip, Ravindra, Ankur, Shurba, Vingnesh, and Jishel. All very white-coded names committing crimes. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, wait a second, John. Those don't seem like white people to me. So again, anytime that somebody says like, oh, well, you see white people this or white people that, I'm like, no, not really. Like, I don't even, like, the real stats are so much worse than what they're actually being reported, right? We're like 60% of the population. We commit 40% of the violent crime. It's even worse. It's like 30%. It's like 20%, right? And ironically, like anytime an Indian speaks up on anything, you have to remember that all of their crime stats just get counted as white. So the actual rape, the actual murder, the actual violent crime in this country is so lopsided to Indians and blacks and other people. Like, it's actually shameful that we're blaming any of this on our own people. And the people that are counting these, the people that are putting these on like my people and saying like, look how bad white people are. Look at majority of sexual offenses are white people. It's like, I don't even grant you that. Nope. I don't even think so. I think that they intentionally make the deck look as bad as possible, and it's still not as bad as what the numbers actually are, right?
Well, they don't
like,
separate non-white and white Hispanic when it comes to
of course,
offending crimes, right? But when it comes to the victim side of things, then they
I totally agree with you that they try and make it look bad, and their misrepresentation of the stats still isn't helping them. Still isn't helping them at all. So I mean, yeah, the real stats, if we could see the real stats, how we say 13 do 50 as a joke, right? 13 do 52. It's probably like 13 do 70 and like 5 do 20. That's probably what it is. Like, what percentage of the population is Indian? Like 2%, 3%. They've got to be like 10x overrepresented in like sex crimes and stuff like that. And then we already know that the African community here is quite overrepresented. But remember, the real numbers are even worse.
The real numbers closer to like 5 to 65.
Well, yeah, well, of course, yeah. If you actually boil down to via gender, but even remember that there has never been a year in which white men were more violent than black women. Now, here's maybe a little bit of a palate cleanser. Here we have a search and rescue operation. Firefighters in Kansas City were forced to cut apart a portable toilet after a man somehow became trapped beneath the seat in a strange rescue. Guys, like, okay, I've had some low moments in my life. Okay, there's been some bad times in my life, but I've never been stuck in a porta potty under the seat low in my life.
I have questions that I don't want to ask, but I have to. Who found him, and how long was he stuck in there, and did they come in to use it? Would that be terrifying? Just
Indian moment.
The little Indian face.
Eviction notice. Bro, come out. You're gonna look out of there.
Eviction notice?
Watch your fucking self. Get it way back. We're gonna cut all the way down. Get way back.
Watch your arm. We're calling that. Yeah.
Okay, that is not a big area. How is he even fitting back there? What is going on? What psychotic episode was like, I'm gonna crawl into a porta potty? Like, I don't want to be in a porta potty like on the outside at all, you know? Like, it's not a particularly pleasant environment, okay? But to crawl inside and then get yourself stuck. Oh, God.
Get out. Come on, man. Dude, I'm going to move my motorcycle. Lean forward like you did before.
Lean forward and come out.
Oh, no, don't do it again. Dude, I'm getting the gag reflex a little bit just kind of thinking about that. You know, there's certain things where that's one of them.
Lean forward. Lean forward. Lean forward. Put your arms out. Get out. Just clean up like you were before. Go other way.
Push it the other way.
Other way. Now
There you
lean
go.
forward. Lean forward. I didn't let me sit. Lean forward. Put your head Hey, listen. No, I'm not listening. Put your head through the thing like you were when you first showed up. Hey, these screws are down. No, they aren't. Lean forward, dog. Listen. I'm not listening. Lean forward like you were before. Now you're just talking now.
No way. I mean, third world antics and all, but that's disgusting if true, Big Bean.
No, lean forward. Put your head through the hole. You got to move. Get the fuck out of there. Hurry up. Bro, come on. Man, the screws are sticking out. So lean forward like you had your head through the first. You got space now. No, you lean Get your head through. Put your head through the hole. No, lean your head through the hole, brother. I'm the dumb fuck while sitting in a fucking urinal.
Imagine being the guy who's stuck inside of a porta potty, calling someone else stupid, who is risking his own health and helping you, you retarded mongrel animal, and you have the audacity. It's like, you know the saying about a dog, like, don't bite the hand that feeds you, okay? Like, we're literally babysitting you and getting you out of a porta potty that you worked yourself into, and you have the audacity to call us names. Like, we should actually just leave you in there. Or honestly, just tip it over and have him figure it out, okay?
That's real smart to say. You can get out of there.
I think they should run it in the hose.
There you go. Now take your left arm. Take that left arm, put it straight up. Put it straight up. Look at these fucking screws. Bro, put that arm up. Bro, listen. All you gotta do is catch this thing so it come out. No, you can put your left arm straight up. Listen to me. Left arm straight up. There you go. Now lean forward. Lean forward. Keep leaning. Put it back a little. Come on. Man, I can't. I can't. Wow. Watch your head, okay?
Do you like carry Vicks that you can put under your nose?
Yeah, they're like, hey, can we get something for the scent over here?
Don't move.
Yeah, I didn't have that on my timeline for today. Skibbity toiletries? I can't poop or something like that. I don't know. Where is it?
Skibbity toilet riz. Okay.
Does anyone have the footage after that? Because I want to see if somebody does, like, if they actually do get him out. Let me see if I can find the footage of him actually getting out. Because that is quite something. Aww. Aww.
Oh no.
Yeah, we need an extra case.
Flashback.
Let me skip ahead. Does this have more footage? Just look. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go.
Or they hose them down.
They better. My gosh.
I think they should have applied the hose before they started cutting.
Yeah. Well, like fire hose him as he's coming out. Oh my gosh.
This the toilet that man was in? Obviously, it was full of shit. But that's what he was in there in. All this nasty shit. What's his bed for 8 hours?
Nice. Yeah, absolutely vile and disgusting. No thanks. Anyways, that was supposed to be a lighthearted palate cleanser for the end of the show. It
I got
was
a
a palate cleanser in some way. Maybe a reverse palate cleanser.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
That's so gross.
DM Louise for 5 says, I just discovered LEO trade-in suppressors for sale. Crazy how cheap they are. 300 shekels on some websites. Really?
Yeah,
Are
I've
they?
been waiting for this.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of cool. You know, maybe you can get some cool like an RC2 or something for like really cheap. Maybe that's a cool option. Probably beat to F out of, but you know, cheap suppressors. Here we go. Thank you, DM. Send me a link. Amorai Boy for 2 says, what is Jake doing with them with his toes? Jake has been doing some things, that's for sure. I don't know if it's consensual what he's been doing with them, but he has been doing it. Bushmaster over on Rumble says, when I was working at a boat rental place in high school, we had an Indian lady have explosive diarrhea in our porta-john that went all over the floor, up the walls and everything. I had to clean it. Yeah, you can't pay me enough to clean up after an Indian. Nope.
A buddy of mine works at a gas station, and he had a special needs kid come in last week, and he said it was from the ceilings down. And the kid tried to tell him about it on the way out, and the mom like shuffled him past. So he went in, cleaned it up, and his boss offered him a crisp $20 bill as a tip.
I mean, that's something. But at least with a disabled kid, it's like, well, he doesn't know any better. But with an Indian, it's like, you're not even disabled. You're just Indian. You know? You just shouldn't be here.
I think Indian is a disability in itself.
Agardis for 2 says, soft serve, fresh from the tap. Agardis. There's
Gross.
chocolate ice cream down there, don't you know? Polly P for 5 says, it was only a moment. It was only in this moment I understood the definition of skibbity toilet riz. Okay. True.
Skibbity toilet riz. Okay.
Coral Weezer says, thanks for ruining my quesadilla. I am very sorry about that. Yeah, to anyone who was eating during the playing of that monstrosity, I do apologize. Agardis for 5 says, and here y'all thought armpit people were the worst you'd hear of tonight. Nope, armpit people are downright wholesome individuals, okay? Compared to whatever, poop feces festival was going on in that porta-john, okay? Armpit people are downright wholesome. Thank you, Agardis. Amorai Boy for 2 says, 2 nibs, 1 porta-john. Amorai Boy, you just took it to a whole nother level, okay? Imagine 2 of them go down there to have some privacy while they copulate. Nope. Thanks for that. Thanks, though. Of course, James Garner likes pits. Of course he does. Subarctic Noticer over on Ko-Fi says, real Nika hours tonight. I see, give me an esoteric big toe money, making that travel money this week. Very base. And I got to pass it on to my favorite parasocial relationship. Christ is king. Well, thank you very much. $20. Very, very base. Here's an OG big toe money for the traveling man.
Honey, this is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, take money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good. Your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Take money, big toe money. That's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody's.
All right. Well, hey, that rounds us out for the night. Richard, what do you got before we get out of here, sir?
I want you to take a couple of seconds and play that link I dropped in the private chat, because I think that would be a wholesome way to end the stream.
Okay, well, we'll see how wholesome this is going to be. Kawasaki, a monkey never cramp. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Monkey never crap. Never crap. Actually, dude, I forgot to add it to the sounders. I'll try and get that. So anyways, do your outro real fast while I try and add something to the sounders.
I just thought that was fitting. Yeah, I still have a channel. I haven't done anything with it in over a month because I've been working so much and worked myself literally until I was sick. So, but hopefully I will be out this next weekend doing some fishing, and I'll try and set up and do a little stream. So if you guys want to come over, hang out, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, get some fishing done this weekend. All right, what should I entitle this? Taser woman, taser face. That's what we're gonna do. Because it's that I'm a pregnant woman taser clip, which I find very funny. Okay, let me upload it. Let's see if it works on here. Because I know you people were asking for it earlier. Okay. Well, also, while Richard is here, don't forget to pray for Richard because he has pneumonia. And this might be his last stream. It was a good run, but as an old, aged man, pneumonia is basically a death sentence. So unironically, do not forget to pray for Richard to make sure that he's healed up. Okay, both for work and for stream. Most importantly for stream. Of course, work is like important and whatnot. Yeah. But stream very important, and also for his doggo so that he can take care of his doggo. So very important. Make sure of that, and check out Taserface.
I didn't want me, Taser.
That is a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, for hanging out on this fine Wednesday night. I hope you guys have had a good week so far. Couple days left for the weekend, man. There was some stuff that I was going to get to, but we'll get to it on Friday. Might as well hold off until then. But I do want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out. Thank you so much for the support, for allowing me to do this as kind of a job. I know it's very difficult to sit here and try and entertain you all, but I hope I do it somewhat successfully. So legitimately, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all very, very much. Now get out there, get after it. Make sure you ship those Augs tomorrow, okay? All right? It just goes for everybody in the chat, okay? If you just owe somebody something, don't wait. Just give it to them, okay? Just give them what you owe, and we'll all be better off, okay? No problems. Ship the Augs, okay? Do your job, okay? All right, okay? But with all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. God bless. Godspeed. Christ is King, and Christ is God.